This is our MC. Everyone used to clown on him because bro could only stand 3 minutes in training. But after getting absolutely folded by a monster, my guy gets reincarnated 60 years into the past with triple S talent and starts dominating the entire region. Now, with one goal, saving the world from a disaster, he teams up with this baddie whose name alone makes an entire continent shake. Then there's this cold baddie who's not only overpowered but also MC's master.
Sorry, mommy.
And lastly, this tiny little thing. Yo, let me finish first. She only looks small on purpose. This is what she actually looks like. And yeah, she's over 1700 years old and absolutely overpowered. So how did his life end up changing like this? To find out, we gotta go back 60 years. An unknown person called out to Yunxiang. He didn't understand how it could be calling him. The unknown person asked him to wake up. Suddenly, the guy woke up in a room he didn't remember. The boy opened his sleepy eyes, figuring out what had happened to him before. When he got up, he didn't get what was going on because he was sure he had gone down with the enemy in that battle. The guy noticed something odd about him and scratched the back of his head. Suddenly, what he saw in front of him clicked. The guy saw himself in the mirror. The uniform of the Academy of Military Technology that he wore looked familiar to him. Yunxiang realized he was 18 years old again based on his reflection in the mirror across from him. Looking at the calendar that showed the year 1330, the guy realized this was Tiandu on the eastern continent. He figured out he had gone back 60 years. Yuanding City was a medium-sized city located in the border area of southern Tiandu, believed to have been started 400 years ago by the first director of the Military Technology Academy. The Academy of Military Technology is one of the 3 places of higher learning in the Tiandu Kingdom for training Star Soul Master. In the stadium of the Military Technology Academy, 2 students, number 277th grade against number 3 10th grade, were fighting. Guys in mechanical suits clashed in the stadium and were watched by the rest of the students. Watching the fight between the Star Soul generals, the guy, Lu Yan, saw the Academy students clash up close for the first time. Lu Yan was 18 years old and a Star Soul Master at the initial step of the yellow rank. One of the students shielded himself from the enemy's incoming attack. The second student swung his sword, saying his opponent wouldn't just be able to get away from him. The shoulders of one mechanical machine shot out a bunch of explosives at the opponent. The second student, trying to dodge the sword attack, countered by saying the fun was over and told him to watch his froggy leap as he avoided the enemy's shots. The student tried to strike his opponent, confident that he couldn't dodge. While watching, the student used a great move on his opponent called the Great Shattering Vortex. Indeed, the machine began to spin quickly, using the Great Shattering Vortex move. There was a loud popping sound in the arena. The Academy students noticed Lu Yan, who wasn't wearing a uniform, and thought he might be a spy. A girl was surprised that the match was over so quickly. She hadn't seen the crucial moment and was really annoyed. The people around didn't believe that Red had actually managed to win the second round, even though he was from the 10th grade, but he pulled it off. Everyone realized that because of Lu Yan's shouting, they couldn't see anything, but the guy had already left the arena. Lu Yan managed to get away from the upset Academy students in time, because if he had stayed, he would have become their target. The guy didn't understand where he had ended up this time. Lu Yan was looking for the red door that a man had told him about at the entrance of this academy. Turning another corner, Lu Yan thought he had come to the right place this time. Realizing that this place was another dead end, the guy got annoyed that he couldn't figure out the area's layout. The guy decided to jump that dead end by using his star power boost. Lu Yan managed to leap the dead end to another part of the building in the academy. Suddenly, the guy noticed the women's locker room right in front of him. He did not expect that turn of events. A girl named He Yan noticed the guy. She was a late-stage yellow rank Star Soul Master and a 10th grade senior at the Military Technology Academy. Lu Yan was shocked by the sight and didn't know how to react. The girls were shocked at the boldness of the guy who was following them. All the girls asked to catch this guy, thinking he was a peeping Tom. Lu Yan ran away and tried to tell them they had it wrong, saying he didn't mean any harm. The girls didn't believe him. Running away, the guy hit another dead end, which was very surprising, as he was now being chased by angry girls. The cornered guy tried to explain himself, but the girls told him to be quiet, saying they would first handle the creep who was following them, then tie him up and send him to the principal. Upstairs, in the principal's office on the top floor of the administration building, the acting director realized it was Lu Yan who was supposed to report to her. The beaten-up guy said that he was Lu Yan from a village on the southern border. He had passed the special entrance test early from the Star Soul Master Training School and scored 97 points on the military discipline exam. Xiao Yue, the director's secretary, said that Lu Yan's father was a retired military officer, a commander of the 5. Then Gu Shijing, the acting director, pointed out that this guy looked promising, adding that by the age of 20, he could get close to the black rank. Looking at the guy, Shijing asked Xiao Yue to take care of of the paperwork since they were hosting him. Luyan did not understand why the woman was looking at him like that. The acting headmaster said to untie him first. Yan tried to object to Shijing, but Luyan quickly pointed out that it was a misunderstanding because he did not intend to peek at them. The girl irritably snorted back at the guy, then puffed up her cheeks. Shijing informed the boy that he would be enrolled in the 10th grade where Yan was studying, and then asked the head student, Yan, to give Luyan a tour of the school and hand him over to his class teacher. The girl did not interrupt Shijing's instructions and was ready to carry them out. For starters, she needed to go get Luyan's uniform. Shijing asked Xiao Yue to hand over Luyan's personal file. The secretary obeyed her boss and handed the documents to the girl. The secretary used magic to seal Luyan's personal file into a card. When Xiao Yue handed this card to the head student, she asked him not to lose it because it contained all the information about Luyan. Yan, picking up the rolling pin, signaled to her classmate to follow her. She was still keeping an eye on him. The girl indicated to Shijing that she was leaving and exited the principal's office. The guy decided to follow his classmate's example, noting that student Luyan was leaving. Xiao Yue informed Shijing that there was a report of missing students. The assistant instructor reported that student Song Yunsheng had been absent from class and out of contact for 3 days. Taking a smoking pipe, the woman heard that instructor Cheng was asking if he needed to report the missing person to the public security department. After smoking a cigarette, the woman said she remembered this missing guy, calling him a worthless guy with a damaged soul who was pushed into the academy through the Song family's connections from Yuanding City. Pointed out that according to the last student who saw Song, he was in the dormitory asking, since today is April 9th, why no one had seen him. Xiao Yue coughed and asked why Shijing was smoking in the office. Shijing looked sweetly back at her secretary, who was gasping for breath from the smoke in the office. Xiao Yue didn't understand why the woman kept smoking and didn't listen to her. Shijing pointed out that her assistant was making too much noise, adding that the missing guy's family situation was complicated. She decided to contact his family. Later, Yan gave the guy a tour of their academy, showing him the stellar machine workshop, the dormitory, and the laboratory, pointing out that tomorrow they would study the construction of stellar souls, which would be held in the lecture hall of the main building. Luyan asked the head student where they were going now. The girl replied that they would head to the arena, and after lunch, the Star Soul fighting practice sessions would begin. Yan pointed out to the guy to change into a new uniform, saying that teachers dislike students who dress carelessly. The guy stopped and noticed something strange. The girl tried to hurry the classmate, asking why he froze in one place. The guy looked up excitedly. Yan didn't understand what he was looking at, so mesmerized. Luyan asked the head student what the statue was that he really liked and was so interested in looking at. The girl said that this statue was put up in honor of a legendary hero who lived 400 years ago. This hero's name was Star Soul General Zhu Ci. According to the legend of the Eastern continent, thousands of years ago, terrible monsters suddenly came down upon the earth. The monsters ruthlessly smashed everything around them, consuming intelligent life and products of civilization. The human race couldn't fight back against the monsters and was close to ending. When everyone had already lost all hope, immortals came down from the heavens and created bones from stars and body shells from souls, summoning out-of-body magical images known as Star Soul Generals. With the help of this incredible power, they began to finish the monsters. The immortals also brought with them soul jades that contain the power of the generals. These jades chose those who were destined to become heroes of mankind and gave them power. The immortals taught the human race a secret way to improve the Star Soul veins. People who could learn this secret art and practice it began to be called Masters of the Star Soul. Thousands of years ago, a wise man of the human race, imitating the art of the immortals, created his own Star Soul technique that could be used by more than just the chosen ones. The founder of the academy and its first director was the celebrated Star Soul General Zhu Ci. The girl added that people used Zhu Ci to lay the foundation for the Tiandu country by freeing its southern part and founded an academy in this place 400 years ago. Yan pointed out that the Star Soul had also been turned into a soul jade and sealed in this statue. She was still protecting their academy and waiting for a new hero to appear. Luyan looked at the statue with happy eyes, telling the head student that this story made his inside stir. The guy promised the statue that he would become the same kind of hero as the founder of this academy. His goal was to become one of the top 8 Tiandu generals and the strongest Star Soul Master. Suddenly, after the words were said, a noise was heard from the statue. The guy didn't understand what had happened. Yan realized that it was the fluctuating resonance of the soul force, assuming it was due to Zhu Ci's soul jade. Luyan asked what that was just now, not understanding what was going on. The girl didn't understand why the Star Soul General resonated with this guy. After all, in her opinion, Luyan could not be the next Zhu Ci user. Approaching the statue, the guy didn't understand why there was no more reaction. Yan refused to believe that the founder Star Soul General could choose someone to harm this guy. The guy suggested that for the statue to react, he should try dousing it with saliva. Yan slapped the guy and told him to behave normally and stop messing around with the Zhu Ci statue. The girl dragged him along, informing him that he should introduce himself to the teacher. Luyan was sure that Zhu Ci had clearly reacted to him. Our boy standing there realized that 60 years ago, the people of the Eastern continent still believed in the legend of the descended immortals. Tucking in his sleeves, our boy realized that everything was almost ready. This time, he would not let the people here perish in vain. Meanwhile, in the academy's battle arena, 2 students in mechanical machines were fighting again. The winner of this match was the student behind the blue general. All present were happy that he managed to win. The class assistant Cheng Yi informed teacher Ube that the student in the blue general had done well, suggesting that he be awarded extra points. Ube, the class teacher of the 10th grade, considered Cheng Yi's suggestion and pointed out that the student was dragging out the battle too long, assuring that if he had fought on a real battlefield, he would definitely fail. Unexpectedly, their conversation was interrupted by He Yan, who reported that she had brought Lu Yan, the new student, to report. Ube asked if this was the same guy who passed the special entrance test. Lu Yan reported that it was him, adding that he came from a village in the southern part of Tiandu. He was at the early stage of the yellow rank, but Ube asked him to stop. Ube indicated that she did not like listening to all this useless nonsense. She turned to He Yan and said that in the next game, He Yan would be fighting against this guy. Hearing this, the boy tried to disagree because he had just arrived at the academy. He Yan was happy about this instruction from Ube because she was looking forward to handling this guy who had been peeking at them. Watching the fight, the students told the head teacher to teach the newcomer a lesson, warning the newcomer to be careful because He Yan was one of the best in the 10th grade. Cheng Yi asked if Lu Yan knew how to create a Star Soul General and control it. The boy replied that he had learned it at the Master Training School, and his father had also taught him a lot of things, pointing out that he had not yet been given a Star Soul General. Assistant Cheng Yi held out the soul amulet that belonged to Ween, who had not come, indicating that he needed to infuse his soul power into the talisman and follow the instructions to create a Star Soul General. The guy was delighted after receiving the Weiyuan Academy mass production martial technology talisman, noting that this talisman was more advanced than his father's soul jade. Assistant Cheng Yi was surprised at this guy's reaction to the talisman he had received. He Yan applied the Star Soul building technique, preparing to duel with the guy. Lu Yan followed the head student and used the Star Soul building technique as well. He Yan indicated that she was not going to show him mercy, intending to get revenge on Lu Yan for spying on them. The guy replied that He Yan should give her best effort. All the students were betting on He Yan, pointing out that they should not hold them back because it was already getting dark and it was time for dinner. The girl attempted a powerful attack on the newcomer who was defending with a shield. Lu Yan managed to dodge the head student's attack just in time, which pierced the floor of the arena with a powerful punch. He Yan tried to attack the newcomer with her sword, but Lu Yan managed to block her attack in time. The guy started to run away, and the girl ordered him to stop, asking him where his enthusiasm had gone. Watching the match, Assistant Cheng Yi pointed out that Lu Yan was not fighting He Yan at all, but only dodging and running away. Ube replied to the assistant that she should not underestimate the newcomer, pointing out that his moves might look chaotic, but he was excellent at avoiding He Yan's attacks. Lu Yan managed to successfully cover himself from the attack of the head student, who tried to attack him with her sword. Lu Yan realized that the head student's strength was great. The difference in the two stages of refinement had too much influence on this conflict. The students told the rookie to start fighting back. The second guy said that the rookie was at the beginning stage of the yellow rank and He Yan was already at the peak, so her general should be stronger and more durable than Lu Yan's. Seeing the girl's next lunge, the guy realized that he couldn't fight her directly and decided to increase the distance. Lu Yan pointed out that the head student was not very good at controlling attacks with soul force beams because from this distance, her attacks wouldn't even scratch him. Hearing such words, He Yan became furious and was ready to use her strength to the maximum. A student in the stands noticed that the head student was going to use that maneuver. They didn't understand how the rookie managed to provoke He Yan into going for such a thing. Assistant Cheng Yi pointed out that in such a situation, the rookie would be done for because even a shield wouldn't help him block her attack. He was sure that Lu Yan wouldn't be able to dodge it. The girl tried to hit the newcomer with her powerful attack. She was sure he wouldn't be able to withstand her. The newcomer tried to dodge his opponent's attack, but it grazed his Metal Star General's body. Seeing this, one guy pointed out that this match was painful for him to watch, and another guy noted that the newcomer was still doing quite well against He Yan. Cheng Yi was shocked at what was happening in the arena. Ube pointed out that the newcomer would win. Hearing her words, the other students were surprised by such a statement from the class teacher. Although the red general was badly damaged, his sword was aimed at the blue general's weak point, and according to the rules, Lu Yan wins. He Yan was shocked by the outcome of their fight, but was pleased that he was able to win against such a strong opponent. A student was shocked that the newcomer managed to handle their senior, even though he was behind her in rank. Ube informed everyone that they had all done well in the practice session, and Lu Yan had beaten a late-stage yellow rank contestant while only being at the early stage. The guy pointed out that this fight was amazing because the senior student was pushing him so hard that he couldn't respond at all, adding that her general was better than his in strength and speed. Lu Yan added that while observing her movements, he noticed that she rarely released rays of mental power to speed up her movements or improve her maneuverability, so he assumed that she had little mental power or her fighting habits were strictly defensive. Ube realized that a rookie fighting a stronger opponent was able to calmly assess the situation on the battlefield. This guy seemed interesting to her. The guy continued to say that because of He Yan's temper, he deliberately provoked her and then launched a counterattack. The girl couldn't bear to listen to all of this. He Yan couldn't stand it and said that the guy was just lucky, asking him to stop calling her senior and refer to her as the head student. Suddenly, Lu Yan pointed out that he had broken General number 16, not understanding how to pay for it. The girl said that generals were created with the help of the master's soul power, and there was no lasting damage. Yan realized that this general belonged to that guy. Cheng Yi confirmed her guess by pointing out that this general belonged to young Master Song Yun Xiang, who had been absent from class for 3 days, and he was going to report him missing. She meant by 3 minutes, asking what it referred to. The guys pointed out that due to his damaged veins, he could only use the star-souled general for 3 minutes before it automatically dissipated, indicating that Song Yun Xiang was the worst of the worst. Ubei ordered the students to stop this conversation and go to the cafeteria, indicating that after lunch they were all free. The girl did not understand why it suddenly started to get dark so quickly because she hadn't noticed it before. Suddenly, a huge number of monsters began to appear in the sky, coming out of space, breaking it like glass. Then a siren sounded at the academy that night to inform everyone of the impending danger. Hearing the alarm of the defensive array, Ubei was confused by such an event. Rifts appeared in the neighborhood. A wave of monsters began to come over the academy, and students were panicked by the sudden appearance of the monsters. Many monsters got into the surrounding neighborhoods of this city and ruined everything in their path. The people, realizing that the monsters were near them, intended to flee to the shelter. All of them began to run for their lives. The guy noticed that one of the monsters was ready to unleash a howling, powerful attack on them and was shocked by it. The monster managed to use its technique. The light hitting the guy's body split him into small molecules. Assistant Cheng Yi, following Ubei's instructions, used the Star Soul formation, taking Wei Yin's machine, and managed to resist the monster's attack. Everyone in the neighborhood began to be knocked off their feet, but Ubei continued to stand by and watch what was happening in their academy. Damage to the core was recorded at 73%. The volume of soul force was 22%. Cheng Yi managed to resist the monster's attack and protect the students. Gourmet-type monsters began to approach him. Ubei started counting the monsters and managed to count up to a dozen monsters that were heading towards them. Cheng Yi ordered the entire 10th class to retreat and get out of the battle zone because they wouldn't be able to deal with this enemy, and began to rebuild the outer armor. Yan asked Ubei if there was anything they could do to help them. The guy was ready to engage in battle and head toward the monsters. The class teacher replied that they were listening to orders and retreating from the conflict. One of the monsters tried to attack Cheng Yi's aide, who was standing in defense of the students. Ubei rushed to his aid just in time and sliced the huge body of the attacking monster. The guys were shocked at such strength. Their class teacher, Yan, pointed out that it was teacher Ubei's special Yuan white-colored mech. Cheng Yi warned Ubei that there was another monster behind them who was trying to grab them. Ubei thought it was strange that the monster's movement had abruptly slowed down. She didn't understand what had happened. Cheng Yi told Ubei that more monsters were approaching, saying that the two of them might not be able to handle it, and ordered him to shut up. Ubei replied that they should hold back the monsters until reinforcements arrived. Assistant Cheng Yi agreed with her. Yan, along with the newcomer, watched their teachers battle and didn't understand what they should do in such a situation. The girl pointed out to the boy that they needed to do as they were told, since they would only be in the way of their teachers. The students hurried to the shelter as the teachers wished, and Lu Yan followed Yan. The guy noticed something strange in the sky. Ubei was calling the command center, trying to report the situation to them. The command center tried to call the vehicle Ubei was driving. Xiao Yue said that the reinforcements had almost arrived. Upon their arrival, a temporary squad would be formed with Ubei as the commander, adding that they needed to hold the arena area and stop the monsters from spreading. Ubei, having received the battle instructions, was ready to proceed with the order. The student council team came to the aid of Ubei and Cheng Yi and were ready to fight the monsters together. The girl was pleased and thanked them. She began to give them instructions on how to conduct this fight. Ubei ordered them to form a 12th position battle formation against the monsters. The student council adopted the tiger wing formation as instructed by teacher Ubei and were ready to fight. This formation takes advantage of the location and is suitable for a long defense. Shi Jing pointed out that this was exactly what Ubei had expected because she had become famous in the northern battle zones as a white fox. Xiao Yue reported that her team had successfully established a line of defense in the 8 o'clock direction. The screen showed that reinforcements had arrived for all the teams. The area where the rift and monsters appeared was completely closed off. Xiao Yu waited for further instructions from the director. Shi Jing ordered all the machines of the Military Technology Academy to hold their positions and the enemy inside the perimeter, instructing them to hold back until the wave of monsters ended. Hearing the director's order, none of the warriors were ready to retreat from restraining the monsters. One of the monsters tried to strike the general, but the warrior managed to dodge the blow in time and continued to hold back the rush of monsters. There was a massive destruction of one of the academy buildings on the other side from Ubei's squad. Lu Yan, running away from a monster, didn't understand why the monster appeared even in such a place. He and Yan continued to run away to safety. The boy asked the girl why this monster kept chasing them, pointing out that it had suddenly gotten even faster. The girl told Lu Yan that he should try to lose the monster, ordering the guy to run towards the 9th underground entrance. The guy replied that he didn't know the road that leads to the 9th underground entrance. Yan said that the underground entrance was right under Zhou Xi's statue, and the girl tried to stop the monster that was chasing them by using the Star Soul formation. The girl managed to confront the monster that was chasing them so that Lu Yan could get to safety. Lu Yan tried to run as fast as possible to the 9th underground entrance, trying to see Zhou Xi's statue. As the guy ran away, he saw that the monster had managed to grab the head of the mechanical machine that Yan Yan was controlling, but the girl was struggling to deal with his attacks. The monster managed to smash the huge mechanical machine to the ground. Yan called out to the newcomer that he needed to keep running towards the statue no matter what. The boy decided to obey the girl's instruction. He didn't understand why he was so useless, realizing he could only run away. Yan didn't understand why he could only watch others sacrifice themselves to save him. Stopping, the guy realized he could help the others if he had a Star Soul General. Remembering the Zhu Si statue, Yan suggested that it could help him. The guy realized that if he became the one chosen by the Soul Jade, Zhu Si would be able to give him the power of the Star Soul General. Yan hoped that the girl would hold out a little longer and could wait for him to come back for her. The guy managed to reach Zhu Si's statue, which he was very happy about. He began to shout out, praying to the statue that Star Soul General Zhu Si would recognize him. Suddenly, the guy stopped, noticing something unusual near this statue. He was surprised to see that there was someone on top of the statue. The guy didn't understand what was going on in this place. He assumed that the Zhu Si statue had been damaged. The newcomer noticed the Zhu Si Soul Jade in the hands of the guy standing on the statue and was very surprised, not expecting such a turn of events. Yan tried to find out from the guy who he was and what the jade in his hand was. The guy replied that his name was Song Yunxiang, indicating that he had returned to the academy. Shortly before the incident, Yunxiang was tormented by the souls of those he failed to save and asked for their forgiveness. Teachers and students at the Military Technology Academy who looked down on him. The girl who did not dare to marry him because of her damaged soul veins. The Song family soldiers were going to defend Yuanding City to the very end, but they were too weak to fight. Yunxiang was told that he was weak and must leave this place to survive and continue the Song family. The friends from Xuanjiawei told the comrade to leave them and escape, and pointed out that if there is an afterlife, he would like to continue following Song Yunxiang. The most important thing for Yunxiang were the people who surrounded him. The girl had told the guy with her last bit of strength that he would be able to repay her in the next life. Yunxiang was tormented by the memories of the people who tried to protect him, the enemy that Yunxiang couldn't handle. The guy in the memories told Yunxiang that he could never defeat him. The Star-Lord system and the people he met on the southern continent and the western continent. The inner struggles that had tormented Yunxiang for decades will finally be able to leave him alone. The guy tried his best to make a breakthrough with his powers. There was a bright flash. One of the dormitory buildings was affected. Yunxiang had managed to make a breakthrough for a long time. The guy managed to break through 4 stages in a row in just 3 days. Yunxiang understood that for a body with damaged soul veins, it was too hard. He realized that he had no time. Having previously faced tens of thousands of invincible enemies, he had experienced the frustration of his weakness. Yunxiang decided to return and fall along with the enemies that day. The guy never thought he would be able to travel 60 years into the past. Getting dressed, the guy looked at his body. He was sort of a failure due to the damage to his soul veins. To protect his father, Yunxiang snuck into the Military Technology Academy. Previously, the boy didn't understand his father's intentions and relied on his status as the young lord of the Song family, leading a shameful lifestyle. Later, the academy was ruined by a wave of monsters. The Song family was also wiped out and completely fell, and the country of Tiandu fell. In his past life, Yunxiang accidentally discovered the Star-Lord system in the ruins of an ancient civilization. The system that saved him in the past stayed with him, and this time the guy ordered the system to check his status. The guy didn't understand why the system revived with him, but the Star Soul Generals and all the things he had stored in the system space disappeared. Yunxiang was determined to start from the beginning. The guy was reborn on the 9th of April on the 11th night. The Military Technology Academy would be destroyed by the wave of monsters. Thanks to the alchemy he had learned in the southern continent, Yunxiang was able to make a rapid breakthrough from the initial stage of the yellow rank to its peak. In a past life, the guy was able to obtain soul vein restoration pills when he turned 50. His life was no longer threatened, but he could only use 20% of the powers of the copied original Star Soul Generals. Yunxiang only has to make one more such pill, and then will be able to fully restore his soul veins without leaving any hidden problems. The guy went to the southern region's Great Potion Pharmacy in the commercial district of Chengdong district of Yanding City. Yunxiang told the seller that he had come to pick up the heavenly dragon stock ordered yesterday. The seller replied that his order was still on its way and would arrive closer to noon. 60 years ago, the eastern continent lacked alchemists, and the art itself was extremely underdeveloped, but the heavenly dragon stem, which was almost impossible to find, could easily be bought at this pharmacy. The guy knew that once he got hold of the last part to create the pills, he would be able to fully recover his soul vein. Realizing that Yuan's mass production machines would be enough for him to deal with low-rank monsters while waiting for delivery, the guy decided to go to the Military Technology Academy and set up a couple of arrays against the monsters. Yunxiang hoped that he could minimize their losses in this battle. He had learned the art of array formation in the northern continent, realizing that in this era, it was already 100 years ahead of the eastern continent. Right now, Yunxiang's refinement level was too low. He could only put up arrays that slowed the monsters. According to legend, immortals descended from the heavens and summoned out-of-body magical images known as Star Soul Generals. Our boy noticed Heyan and Luyan talking. The girl was telling the newcomer about the first headmaster's Star Soul General, Zhu Si. In his past life, Yunxiang had pleaded in front of the statue like a stray dog begging for strength, but received no response. The guy was determined to do things differently differently this time. He ordered the system to scan the statue. The system discovered the soul jade of a star soul general that had no master. The target was captured. The system requested permission to forcibly extract. Earlier, the girl had noticed the fluctuating resonance of the statue's soul force when Yunxiang was extracting the star soul jade. Yunxiang asked if the system could copy it for him. The system said that copying a soul jade without a master was impossible, advising him to set it aside in the system space and find its master. He realized that if he took the soul jade now, it would be of no use, so he decided to wait until the night before the monster tide began and retrieve the soul jade in the midst of the chaos. Yunxiang received a message, assuming that the heavenly dragon stock had already been delivered. The guy decided to go to the pharmacy to order and produce revival pills to restore the soul veins. This time, Yunxiang had returned and intended not to let everyone perish in vain. Yunxiang hurried to the pharmacy to get his order. Walking down the busy street of the city, the guy noticed a stranger who looked familiar. Yunxiang didn't understand why this person was in this place. The guy asked the system to scan the man who walked past him. Seeing the scan, the guy realized that his mental strength was concentrated in the chest area of the Dantian. Yunxiang knew that this kind of refinement method was unique to the northern continent. Looking at his back, the boy assumed that this stranger was a native of the country of Meilun. The state that borders the northern border of Tiu is one of the 3 countries that adopted the culture of the eastern continent. In Yunxiang's past, 3 years later, the Myron kingdom was the first to upset the balance of power, after which it started a full-scale war against the Tiandu kingdom. One by one, other countries were drawn into the war, which was the impetus for the ruin of the entire eastern continent. The boy didn't understand why this man from Myron had appeared in this place, assuming there was a secret he didn't know. Yunxiang reached the pharmacy of the southern region. It was a branch in Yuanding City. The girl greeted the guy, saying that today they had discounts on the anti-wound powder and body-hardening elixir, but Yunxiang pointed out to her that he had come to pick up the heavenly dragon stock. After realizing that this guy was from the Song family, the girl kindly offered to let him enter the very important person area. The girl said that his order, worth 13,000 in Tiandu currency, had arrived, adding that he would have to pay 20% extra for the expedited delivery. Yunxiang said that he didn't have enough money right now. The girl said that their store doesn't provide credit, and therefore, if he couldn't pay for the goods in full, he wouldn't be able to pick them up. He indicated to the girl that he would like to sell these pills that he showed her. The girl replied that they didn't have a permanent alchemist and this room hadn't been used for a long time. The guy replied that it didn't matter. He needed a quiet place where he could isolate the fluctuating mental forces. Given Yunxiang's request, the cute girl asked him to follow her. Yunxiang noticed a pill kiln that was built 60 years ago and wanted to work with it, but unfortunately, it was broken. The boy was pleased that he was able to learn the art of void alchemy from the people of the southern continent. Using alchemical arrays, Yunxiang could create pills without using a furnace. The guy used the 4-direction melting and recycling array in this combat grass, oblivion dust flower, crossing misfortune purple, spiritual poison, death thief, cowardly evil, wrenched demon, and stalk of the heavenly dragon. He used them in the creation of the pills. There was an alchemical combination of all the necessary elements to create the drug. Meanwhile, the girl told the owner that the customer paid with these pills for the heavenly dragon stock, but one drug the girl couldn't recognize. The man was surprised to see these pills. The man indicated it was a blood ignition pill. Looking at the girl, the man asked her if she was sure that the customer wanted to sell these pills to their store. The girl replied that the customer had said so. The man asked where this customer was now. The girl said that the guy was in the alchemy room. The girl forgot to tell Yunxiang that the pill-making furnace was broken. She assumed that the young lad was unlikely to be an alchemist. Meanwhile, Yunxiang dispensed with the furnace and continued to create the pills he needed. After completing the preparation process, the guy received a potion of the highest quality 6th rank revival pills, which he was very satisfied with. The guy immediately consumed this pill, and now he could restore his soul veins. A magical glow formed around him. The man pointed out that no sounds were heard from the alchemy room, doubting his assistant's words. The girl pointed out that the guest had placed some kind of blocking array inside, and it was impossible to open the door from the outside. Suddenly, the sound of the door to the alchemy room opening was heard. The girl introduced the director of this store to Yunxiang. The man introduced himself as Hong Feng. Hong Feng realized that this young man was studying at the Academy of Military Technology and was curious to know where Yunxiang got so many valuable pills from, assuming that there was a great alchemist behind the guy. The guy replied, acknowledging the excitement of their meeting, and inquired whether Hong Feng was satisfied with the pills provided. The man replied that he was more than satisfied. The man assumed that the red pill in this flask was the legendary 5th rank blood ignition pill potion. Yunxiang confirmed the store manager's hunch. Hong Feng asked the guy if he really wanted to sell such a valuable item to their store. The guy replied that he had no choice but to offer Mr. Hong his own price for the pills. The man replied that such a pill could help a green or lower ranked Star Soul Master directly advance one stage, and if one was at the peak stage, he could easily break through to the next rank with the help of it, suggesting that the guy put the drug up for auction. The boy asked Mr. Hong to name the price of these pills. Hong Feng replied that he was willing to pay 300,000 for the pill, and for the soul replenishment pills, he would take half the cost at 250,000. He added that he wanted to maintain a good relationship with Yunxiang. Xiang, and so he was willing to pay him $500,000 for everything. Our boy realized that since he looked young, Hongfeng wanted to make him think that he had received a lucrative offer, assuming that next Hongfeng would want to know the source of these pills. Yunxiang made a thoughtful face while musing about the $500,000 for these pills. Hongfeng said that he could get about 600,000 for these pills, so he offered to sell him 100,000 worth of herbs. Our boy replied that their Juan Palace never lowers its price. Yunxiang pointed out that if he added 2 more blood ignition pills, could they agree on a price of 1 million? The man was shocked by such a suggestion, suggesting that this fellow was patronized by a 5th-rank alchemist. Realizing that Yunxiang was related to one of the 8th strongest Tiandu generals, Hongfeng pointed out that these were indeed blood ignition pills of the highest quality, and the guy realized that this bait should be enough to catch the big fish behind them. Yunxiang assumed that Hongfeng came from a trade union that owned all the pharmacy branches. In the past life, Hongfeng controlled 70% of all the mining and processing of medicinal materials. Our boy knew that to protect the world from future waves of monsters, he needed to increase his power and create his own army, money, connections, and access to resources. Realizing that Hong's alliance must be put to good use by him, Hongfeng pointed out to the guy that this place was not suitable for negotiations and offered to go to his office and taste tea from his collection. Yunxiang gladly accepted his offer. Yunxiang received a notification that his bank account had received a transfer of 1 million. He assumed that the director had called him to pay for the heavenly dragon stem. The man replied that this stem was not that rare and was willing to give it up for 30,000. Yunxiang decided not to refuse Hongfeng's generosity, thanking him for it and noting that the tea was fine. Hongfeng directed the assistant to fetch a gold card with the number 36 from the drawer of his desk. The girl brought the guy a gold card. Yunxiang asked Hongfeng what kind of card it was. The man replied that it was a jade talisman of a platinum-level member of the Hong Union. Using this card, Yunxiang would receive privileges and discounts of the appropriate level at any Hong Trade Union store. Having received such a bonus, the guy fairly left this store. The owner and assistant walked him off the porch. The girl asked if he was polite to the young master because he knew about his background. Hongfeng replied that if his guess was correct, this guy must be a young master of the Song family from Nanju, adding that the 8 generals who are their country's main combat power, but even a few saint-rank masters, are not as precious as who is standing behind this young man. The girl asked if he really thought that a 5th-rank alchemist was behind Yunxiang, pointing out that 5th-rank potions were usually only obtained from relics or found in ancient ruins. The man replied that the tested pills were of the highest quality and ordered the girl to inform the 4th miss that there was a lead on the 5th-rank alchemist she was looking for. Walking down the street, our boy met a girl who was hurriedly covering her face. Yunxiang thought this girl seemed familiar. He was shocked by such an encounter. In a flashback to a past life with this girl, the guy realized it was his favorite. Grabbing her hand, the guy shouted her name, Umbrella. The girl didn't expect the stranger to grab her arm. She was shocked by such boldness from the guy. The system detected that the user had come into contact with the host of the Star Soul General, and then analyzed and copied Lubu's Star Soul General. In Yunxiang's past life, they didn't meet her until 3 years later. At that time, she was already at the saint rank. Umbrella adhered to the principle of quiet abyss. She was associated with the unrivaled strength of Lubu. After these two had fought monsters together on the brink of life and death, they had become lovers. Our boy asked if the name Umbrella was real or if it was a code name given to her in the quiet abyss. The girl answered that the great messenger named her Umbrella as a sign that she is destined to protect from rain and wind those who stand at her back. Yunxiang asked what her real name was. The girl gave him a positive answer. The past feelings of the lovers were strong and real. They treasured the time they lived together. Currently, Umbrella didn't know Yunxiang, so she tried to escape from his touch. Our boy noticed that the girl looked much younger than when he met her 3 years later. Breaking free, the girl asked the guy who he was. With her other hand, she discreetly pulled out a knife. Suddenly, the girl poked the guy, asking how he knew her name. Having knocked out the knife, our boy told the girl that there was no need to be nervous, indicating that he was not her enemy, but she didn't understand the stranger's intentions. The girl tried to find out who he was and how he knew the technique of handling the quiet abyss. Yunxiang asked if she was being followed. Without waiting for an answer, our boy received a sudden kick between his legs. Yunxiang squealed from such a powerful blow to his groin. The unknowns who were following Umbrella saw what had happened and were ready to continue tracking the girl. Suddenly, Yunxiang tripped up one of Umbrella's pursuers, who was caught up in the air and crashed to the ground. Getting up, the guy asked if Yunxiang was paying attention. His partner asked him not to involve outsiders in their surveillance. Yunxiang pointed out to the guy that he had been kicked and wanted to just get away. The guy replied that it was all a lie and he had tripped himself. The unknown person suggested that Yunxiang was in cahoots with that red-haired thief who was dodging them. The hooded guy said that he was from the Tiandu investigation department, starting to suspect Yunxiang was an accomplice of the criminal, and said he should come with them. Yunxiang realized that they were definitely not from the investigation department. Our boy pointed out to them that he was also from that department, showing them a document and asking about the vessel in which the yellow pistols were dried. The hooded guys assumed it was a secret code used by the Tiandu investigation department. The unknown person replied that the bowl was turning into a dusty flower, suggesting that Yunxiang was one of them. The one named 481 Yunxiang identified himself as a subordinate of Anjiang from the Nanju investigation department, asking what the call signs of the hooded guys were. The guy indicated to the others not to linger too long, ordering them to follow the girl, and he would deal with this guy. The unknown man replied that they were agents directly under the command of the investigation department headquarters, indicating that they had just seen him in contact with the target of their mission, asking Yunxiang to explain what had happened. Our boy replied that their department had long been keeping an eye on this girl handler from the quiet abyss, saying that if they hadn't shown up, he would have apprehended her. The stranger offered to go with them and discuss everything on the way. Yunxiang was not opposed to it and replied that he would consult with his superior. The hooded guy pointed out that you cannot do that, indicating that there is a suspected spy in the investigation department, asking not to report their mission so that it does not affect the closing operations. Yunxiang asked what team had ambushed the girl. The hooded guy replied that his men had closed off the perimeter outside of town, indicating that the rest of them had retreated and they needed to hurry, and they both ran together. In his past life, Yunxiang was the commander of the Tiandu Protective Black Shell. He noticed that this guy's mental strength was concentrated in the Dantian, realizing that he was also from the country of Myron. Yunxiang did not expect to encounter stray spies from this country at such a time. The guy realized that in his past life, after the academy was ruined by a wave of monsters, Zosi's soul jade had simply disappeared, suggesting that these spies from the country of Myron had something to do with it. Yunxiang followed the spies wearing a black cloak from a foreign country. Yunxiang noticed the caramelized strawberries on a stick that Umbrella loved a lot. Yunxiang told the seller that he would take a few pieces into the amulet for storage, adding that no change was needed. The seller was happy to have such a customer. Yunxiang decided to check if these strawberries were sour to give to Umbrella. The hooded guy said that his name was Jia Ming and asked what his companion's name was. Yunxiang replied his name was Cheng Yi. Meanwhile, the mention of his name made Cheng Yi sneeze. Ube asked if her assistant was sick, and he said he just had a runny nose. Meanwhile, Umbrella ran into the woods and noticed that her pursuers had kept up with her, not realizing how they ended up in this place. The girl skillfully managed to jump to the ground using star energy to avoid injury, and Umbrella spotted Captain Black, who said he was waiting for her, directing her to reveal the information. The girl pulled out her knife and was ready to engage in conflict with this man. The rest of the pursuers lurked behind Captain Black's back, awaiting further instructions. The girl noticed she was surrounded on all sides. The man indicated that it was a golden sign assassin from the quiet abyss nicknamed the Red-Haired Death, a star soul master who was half a step away from Earth rank. Looking at the girl, Captain Black did not expect such a beauty to be in this place. One of the guys pointed out to the girl that the array had been activated in this place and there was no way for her to escape, suggesting that she surrender without resistance. Without hearing a reply, the body of one of the guys was pierced by the sharp dagger that Umbrella had launched. The girl made it clear to her opponents that she did not intend to just give in to them and obey their instructions. The order came to capture this girl. All the warriors rushed to fulfill the order, and Umbrella was preparing for battle. Jia Ming pointed out that the formation had been activated, assuming that the assassin had already been intercepted in this area. Yunxiang realized that judging from the fluctuations in space, it must be a 5th-rank barrier-type spatial array. A big barrier was around the territory Umbrella had been driven into. Yunxiang noticed the gray wand vehicles that the city guards usually use. He assumed that these guys were able to get hold of the talismans of these Star Soul generals. Jia Ming reported to Captain Black that he had arrived. In the meantime, the girl alone tried to resist a large number of enemies who failed to capture her, and she noticed Yunxiang, who greeted her, indicating that they had met up with her again. Then the dagger launched by the girl flew straight at Yunxiang. When he noticed the approaching danger, he was shocked by this turn of events. Yunxiang grabbed the guy standing next to him and blocked the dagger flying at him. Yunxiang asked Umbrella why she was attacking him, pointing out that he was not with them. As she fought, she didn't realize who this guy was, even though he was only at the yellow rank, but he could dodge her attacks. Captain Black asked his subordinate who this guy was. Jia Ming reported that this guy claimed to be a secret agent of the non-Jew investigation department. The commander pointed out that first, they needed to deal with the girl, and then they needed to find a way to get rid of this guy. Then, 4 mechanical robots stood guard and watched the girl's battle. One of them couldn't bear it and pointed out that enough fun was enough, ordering the warriors to hurry up and finish off the girl. The girl noticed a powerful punch from one of her opponents and managed to skillfully dodge it, and she used the construction of a Star Soul general. The girl was ready to fight the enemies using the Star Soul. The girl's body was loaded into the capsule, after which the construction of the mechanical suit began. The girl completed the formation, and Star Soul General Lubu appeared, pulling out her weapon. The girl struck one of the stellar opponents with lightning speed. The others who saw what was going on were shocked that the girl had managed to handle their partner. One of the enemies rushed at Umbrella, trying to deal damage to her with his sword. Seeing his approach, the girl managed to disarm the enemy's mechanical body with a masterful swing of her weapon. The system informed Umbrella that an enemy attack was approaching from the rear. The girl tried to strike from the turn with her foot, but the opponent managed to block this attack, after which they were thrown away at a great distance. The enemy instructed his team not to stop and deal with this strong girl. Everyone obeyed his instruction. Everyone had used the Star Soul formation, causing Umbrella to be surrounded by enemies once again. The girl noticed that Yunxiang was trying to verbally confront Captain Black. Yunxiang pointed out that they were making so much noise outside of town, asking if they were afraid of being discovered by the town garrison. Jia Ming replied that a level 5 spatial array had been set up beforehand. Even if the sky were to fall apart here, the people outside wouldn't notice it in any way. Hearing Yunxiang's reply and seeing the hopeless lifelessness that enveloped him, Jiaming tried to stealthily pull out a weapon. Jiaming tried to attack Yunxiang to prevent him from interfering with them, but Yunxiang managed to dodge his attack. With a skilled movement, Yunxiang moved behind his enemy's back and used his wand to send Jiaming to another world. The guy could not have predicted that his opponent would turn out to be such a fast and agile warrior. Yunxiang told Commander Black that he would have no problem handling them all here without much effort. The captain was enraged by the stranger's act, ordering his soldiers to capture this insolent fellow. Black ordered his men to send Song Yunin to the other world. Grabbing Jiaming's sword, Yunxiang began to quickly fight against the enemies who were one after another heading towards him, after which Yunxiang began to run away. But Captain Black instructed the surviving warriors to capture him and prevent him from escaping. Yunxiang asked the system if it could hack into the spatial array. The system gave an affirmative answer, indicating that it was launching an invasion. According to the analysis, the array was a two-layered structure with a barrier-type 5th-level space-folding array on the outside and a 4th-level star-soul restraining array on the inside. Handle her opponents one by one, as she realized that there were too many enemies for her to handle alone. Commander Black ordered his subordinate that it was time to capture Lubu and to deploy the star-soul restraining array, and he obeyed his commander's orders. The deployment of the star-soul restraining array around Lubu caused many magical seals to appear. Then chains appeared from the magical seals that bound Lubu's starry soul. The girl didn't understand what happened. She couldn't break these magical chains, and Umbrella decided to use the star soul dispelling technique to break free from the restraining chains. But she didn't understand why she couldn't dispel the star soul General Lubu. Black pointed out to her that she was under the effects of a restraining array they had obtained from the ruins of an ancient civilization specifically to capture star soul generals. The commander ordered the assistant to prepare to forcibly extract Lubu's soul stone. A huge core appeared that was aimed at the girl to retrieve the star soul stone. The extraction machine was started, and the extraction process began. Watching what was going on, one of the enemies pointed out to Umbrella that they had lost too many comrades because of her. The other pointed out that she would not be able to resist now. The enemy noticed that there was a stellar soul building happening next to them, unbeknownst to whom. With lightning-fast movements, Yunxiang began to disarm one by one the enemies that surrounded Umbrella. The magical soul stone retrieval machine was broken by the spear that Yunxiang had thrust in. The girl was shocked by such strength from the guy who helped her avoid losing the star soul Lubu. Yunxiang suggested the girl do a quickie, saying that he usually only lasts about 3 minutes. The girl didn't understand how this was possible because in front of her stood the second Lubu, who was controlled by Yunxiang. And Umbrella noticed that the guy tried to deliver a powerful blow at her with his spear. Yunxiang pierced the body of the enemy who had crept up behind the girl. The impact hit right where the Star General's operator was. The enemy was shocked how Yunxiang managed to accurately pierce the mechanical body and reach him. After turning the enemy into a mist, Yunxiang realized that next time he needed to be more gentle with his enemy. The girl tried to find out from Yunxiang who he really was by asking why his used Star General looked so much like her Lubu. Yunxiang replied that there was no reason to worry, pointing out that he was not her enemy and promising that he would tell her the details later. After all, they should team up and deal with the remaining enemies. The girl agreed to such a proposal from Yunxiang. Teaming up, the two of them began to fight against the enemies that were attacking them. Yunxiang almost handled one of his opponents, but he grabbed the tip of his spear and tried to resist him. The enemy did not resist Yunxiang's attack for long, then lost, and his mechanical body dissipated. Yunxiang claimed that this time he had so much strength to rely on. Immediately, the next enemy tried to attack Yunxiang, who handled his comrade with a skillful swing of his spear. The lad managed to disarm the weapon of his enemy who was attacking him. The girl tried to fight the enemy, but he skillfully blocked her attack with his sword. When she noticed that another girl was approaching her, she swung her spear and managed to handle the two opponents with one roundhouse kick. Such a powerful blow made the girl expend a lot of energy to confront her enemies. Her breath hitched, and Umbrella realized that Yunxiang was capable of piercing through the mechanical body of the Star Soul General with one easy movement. The accuracy of controlling soul forces and knowing the structure of the enemy general's star structure amazed Umbrella. It seemed to the girl that Yunxiang was a veteran who had spent decades on the battle zones. After dealing with all the enemies, Yunxiang pointed out that that was how they were able to handle it. Yunxiang pointed out to his opponent that he was the only one left. The man didn't understand how there could be two Lubu at once. He didn't understand how this guy alone managed to deal with all of his men. Yunxiang ordered the commander to kneel down and surrender. Left alone against the two Lubu, the man couldn't believe his eyes. The commander rushed to the attack, saying that he would reveal what was wrong because he didn't believe that there could be two Lubu at the same time. With a deft move, Yunxiang cut off the arms of the general that was running toward him. Commander Black stumbled and kneeled before Yunxiang, who overpowered him. Yunxiang pointed out that the enemy had disguised himself as members of the investigation department to infiltrate Tiandu country, and he also pulled out the standard equipment used by the guard garrison's Star Soul generals, ordering Black to reveal what he was doing here. The girl was surprised to find out that they were disguised people from the north of Myron. Yunxiang asked if she really thought that these people were from the investigation department, and Umbrella angrily mumbled to the guy in response because she really had felt that way. The man asked the guy how he knew about it, even though he knew it didn't matter. Black hysterically praised the commander and ordered them to go to hell. The girl reported that Black was burning his soul power power and was going to blow himself up. Yunxiang informed the man that he shouldn't play with self-explosives with him. He decided to show his enemy his art. The girl didn't understand how Yunxiang was able to suppress self-destruction with the same frequency of soul resonance. Yunxiang swung and prepared to strike, ordering his enemy to climb out of the Star General's body. There was a powerful impact that caused Black to scatter the mechanical body of the Star General. After Yunxiang applied dispersal on his suit to catch Commander Black, Yunxiang noticed that the second tooth on the left side had a hidden suicide poison. Yunxiang asked the man if he was Night Sprite's subordinate. Black asked the guy how he knew about Commander Night Sprite. The girl was shocked to hear Commander Night Sprite's name, assuming that he was talking about the mercenary king who commanded the 330,000 troops of the Taiwa Swordmaster and Star Soul General Dryad. Night Sprite is the host of the Star Soul General Dryad and a swordmaster hailing from the sunken island nation of Taiwa. According to what Yunxiang knew from his past life, Night Sprite had led the remnants of the Taiwa army and joined the country of Myron as a mercenary for a few years. Then Night Sprite took part in the invasion of Tiandu. In his past life, after joining the Black Shell Defense, Yunxiang had met Night Sprite on the battlefield many times. Back then, because of his mangled soul veins, Yunxiang was no match for him. After the memories of the past, his right eye once again ached where Night Sprite's sword had left its mark. Yunxiang informed the girl that he was leaving Black to her, instructing her to take him to the quiet abyss for questioning. The girl tried to strike out at Yunxiang, asking who he was, realizing that he knew not only about the spies of the Kingdom of Myron, but also of the Quiet Abyss. Stopping her punch, Yunxiang replied that the Quiet Abyss is a secret organization that teaches the doctrine of love and non-aggression to prevent civil war. Yunxiang asked her to calm down because he was not her enemy, adding that their goals were in some sense the same. Yunxiang announced that he wanted to unite all the forces of humanity against the real enemy. Then he managed to snatch the blade from the hand of the girl he had calmed down, after which Yunxiang took out the caramelized strawberries from his inventory. Yunxiang introduced himself to the girl as Song Yunxiang and handed her the sweets. The girl was shocked by this turn of events. As he left, the guy realized that the time would come and he would be able to tell his beloved Umbrella everything. The girl didn't understand how this guy knew what she liked. When she saw that Yunxiang intended to bury the bodies of his enemies, she called him an inscrutable man. Yunxiang was upset that nothing was stored in the enemy's talismans. When the girl saw Yunxiang searching the bodies, she assumed that was why he was helping her. The girl realized her mistake, thinking about how amazing he was. Turning around, Yunxiang asked the girl not to think something rude about him. The girl replied that he was the kind of man whose eyes light up at the sight of money. Getting up, Yunxiang pointed out the wrongness of her reasoning, and he informed the girl that she was too young to understand all the hardships of society. Then he asked if she knew which two words were the most important in navigating the world. The girl asked interestedly what words he was talking about. Yunxiang replied that they were money. With those words, Yunxiang said that she must have money to be able to fight for justice, to improve herself, pointing out that if there is money, there are hundreds of ways to improve one's rank. Yunxiang pointed out that there are no permanent enemies, only a constant race for profit, adding that if you offer enough, you can make your enemy work for you. The girl pointed out that the last words made sense, but she didn't quite understand what he meant. Yunxiang noticed that the sky suddenly darkened. The girl didn't realize what had happened. Yunxiang noticed the rifts in the sky. He didn't understand why they appeared before it happened in his past life. The girl marveled at the rifts that had appeared in Wanding City. Looking at Yunxiang, Umbrella assumed that it was his handiwork. Yunxiang looked at Commander Black and realized that it was his commander's doing. The man pointed out that their comrades from the first team had succeeded. Yunxiang asked Umbrella if the Quiet Abyss knew anything about this case. The girl remained silent. Yunxiang asked her to give him an answer because it was very important to him. The girl only agreed to answer him because he had helped her earlier. According to the information of the Quiet Abyss, the Kingdom of Myron, during their latest exploration of the secret realm, found a way to artificially create rifts. Myron intends to use this technology for military purposes as reported by Umbrella. The girl indicated that she had come to Nanju specifically to investigate the case, and Umbrella could not have expected to fall into the trap of the Myron realm. She was angry at the circumstances. The boy realized that this was the work of Myron, and he began to understand everything that was going on in the world. The wounded man pointed out to the two that it was too late to act, for they were all going to the next world. Yunxiang angrily tried to shut the mouth of the man who started intimidating them. Picking up the man, Black tried to stop Yunxiang from harming him. The girl asked Yunxiang to stop, pointing out that he had already destroyed Black's soul veins, saying that her command needed the man alive. The boy put a pill to Black's mouth and told him that he would survive, indicating that there was no cause for alarm. Yunxiang handed the girl a card, indicating that he would give her thanks for the information she shared with him. He gave her the potions. He indicated that he was going back to Yuanding by asking if the girl would go with him. The girl apologized and replied that she had to rush to the Nonu branch of the Quiet Abyss, pointing out that she had an important mission and was confident that the city's troops along with the Military Technology Academy would be able to deal with the rifts. Yunxiang indicated that he didn't need an explanation because he understood everything, suggesting that Umbrella take the long-haired man and go first. Yunxiang asked the system if he could use Star Arc General Lubu's Red Flame Stallion Beast. The system replied that it would require a threefold consumption of mental power. Then he popped 3 pills into his mouth to increase his mental strength, preparing to summon the Red Flame Stallion. The girl was surprised to see 3 star soul replenishment pills worth 50,000 Tiandu coins. She didn't believe that Yunxiang had eaten 3 pieces at a time. Yunxiang applied the construction of the star soul General Lubu. Yunxiang was able to successfully summon a star-colored red flame stallion formation. The girl was surprised to see a star general beast that was only available at the celestial rank because even she could not use it yet. The surprised umbrella suggested that it might be Zhu Ci's strength from the Military Technology Academy. According to the information of the Quiet Abyss, the legendary star soul general Zhu Ci has the ability to transform into other generals. The girl assumed that this guy was really a Zhu Ci master. Yunxiang heard Umbrella ask him to stop for a moment and say something. The girl informed the guy that the target of the Myron Kingdom this time is related to Zhou Ci, asking him to be careful. Left alone, the girl didn't understand where in the country of Tiandu so many mysterious and strong people appeared. She realized that it could upset the balance of power between the 3 countries and become the impetus for a new war. Saddling the Iron Stallion, Yunxiang rushed to the aid of his military academy. He realized that the Myron had caused rifts to take possession of Zhou Ci's soul jade. In his past life, after the waves of monsters in the military academy, Zhou Ci's soul jade was lost. Yunxiang assumed that the rifts had appeared earlier due to his fault. The fluctuating mental forces that appeared when he pulled out Zhou Ci's soul jade. The guy realized that his actions influenced the course of history. Meanwhile, Yuanding City in the Jiang district was blazing with fire. Locals asked for help. One of the star soul generals was wounded and struggling to get to his feet for further battle. The 5th squad of the Yuanding City army was trying to deal with the monsters that were heading towards them. One of the fighters asked if their teacher Guo was okay. The comrades lifted up the injured teacher Guo to try to help him in any way they could because they were surrounded by a huge number of monsters. Military Technology Academy teacher Guo Yuan, being at the black rank, thanked Commander Zhu Tong for his help. Commander Zhu Tong thanked teacher Guo Yuan in return for bringing the students to them to help them fight the monsters. Zhu Tong, captain of the 5th squad of the city army, he was at the yellow rank stage. Commander Zhu Tong pointed out that many students had to fall victim in this brutal battle. The huge monsters began to come closer and closer to the people who were trying to resist them using the Star Soul Generals. The academy student informed Commander Zhu Tong that 2 more monsters were approaching them from the left side. The partner indicated that another monster was heading toward them from their right in the 13 o'clock direction. The man panicked and told his team that not 1 but 40 monsters were coming from the right. The warrior pointed out to Commander Zhu Tong that there were only a few of them left, concluding that they would not last long, suggesting that the commander retreat. Commander Zhu Tong replied that they didn't even think of retreating because they were given orders to hold this place and prevent the monsters from spreading outside the perimeter, adding that the sacrifice of their comrades could not be allowed to be in vain in this battle. Commander Zhu Tong declared that they were Tiandu warriors and would never retreat before either the Mountain of Swords or the Sea of Flame. Encouraged by the commander's speech, the warriors were ready to fight for Tiandu's victory. Commander Zhu Tong informed teacher Guo Yuan that they would contain these monsters. Teacher Guo Yuan was instructed to take the opportunity to take the students and people here and retreat from this perimeter. The remaining warriors were ready to fight the monsters so that their wounded comrades could escape. Huge monsters started climbing over the barrier, heading towards the Star Soul generals who were ready for defense. Striking at the monster, he managed to block the warrior's weapon, trying to counter it. The warrior used his soul enhancement and managed to strike at the throat of the monster that snatched the second sword from him. A student, holding the wounded teacher Guo Yuan, asked if they should retreat as Commander Zhu Tong wished. Teacher Guo Yuan replied that he had just sent a message to headquarters asking for reinforcements, indicating that they would wait in this perimeter for a bit longer. An academy student offered to help the city's 5th security squad fight the monsters while backup arrives. Surrounding one of the warriors, monsters began to beat him up. The guy could do nothing against the huge number of monsters that surrounded him. Star Soul General was grabbed by the head by one of the monsters. The guy didn't understand how this could happen to him. The monsters tried to wreck him, but the guy used the Star Soul scattering technique to avoid injury. The others saw this and tried to help their comrade, but were prevented from doing so by the monsters that surrounded them. The academy students came to the aid of the 5th squad and managed to save one of their comrades by fighting off the monster. A comrade came to the wounded warrior and tried to help him to his feet. Meanwhile, the monsters captured another Star Soul general. The man asked Commander Zhu Tong to help him. Distracted by the request, the commander was wounded by a monster that stabbed him in the neck. With the 4 warriors left, they were once again surrounded by monsters that were intent on dealing with them. The monsters grabbed one of the Star Soul generals and started pulling in different directions. The man was shocked at this outcome of events. One of the students asked teacher Guo Yuan why the reinforcements had not arrived at their place yet. The guy asked the others if they were not going to end their exodus here, were they? The monsters attacked the injured teacher Guo Yuan, who was trying to fight them off. One of the monsters was trying to deliver a powerful blow to the immobilized teacher Guo Yen, who was lying on the ground in front of him. The student, noticing the monster's intentions, tried to help his teacher Gu Yuan. The teacher was begging with her last strength for someone to help her and save her from the monster's attack. Witnessing teacher Guo Yen's distress, he realized that no one would be able to help her in this situation. He decided to accept this inevitable action. The ordinary people watched as teacher Guo Yuan tried to call for help, but they couldn't help her because they were powerless to fight these monsters. One of the girls heard heard the cries for help and started praying in the hope that they would be saved. Commander Ju Tong didn't understand why his Weiyuan machine couldn't move because he was putting a lot of effort into it. He was trying to help Teacher Guo Yuan, who was asking for help. Teacher Guo Yuan tried to shield himself from the monster's approaching attack. An unexpected beam suddenly struck, saving Teacher Guo Yuan and sending the monster to the other world. Everyone was surprised by this sudden salvation. The people didn't know what the beam was. A huge cloud of smoke and dust rose into the air, obscuring everything. People didn't understand what had just happened. In the distant gloom, the silhouette of an unknown figure was visible, heading towards them. The warrior applied a scattering with his spear that sent a monster into another world. The spear was once again in the hands of Yunxiang, who had come to the aid of his comrades from the military academy. All the monsters, seeing the Star Soul General on a horse, rushed to attack him. Yunxiang was determined to fight such a huge number of monsters, ordering the stallion to charge toward them. He delivered a powerful blow, causing a massive explosion. He managed to send a number of monsters to another world. Yunxiang continued to launch such powerful attacks on the monsters in that perimeter. The people watching were shocked by the strength that Yunxiang possessed when he came to their aid. A student asked the injured teacher, Guo Yuan, if he was the backup that was called for. The injured man didn't suspect who this guy really was. One of the wounded warriors asked what kind of strong Star Soul General had come to their aid. The guy used the dissipation of his Star Soul General, and the body of the mechanical machine disappeared. The rescued people tried to discern the rescuer who had descended to the ground toward them. After applying machine dispersal, the guy told everyone in that perimeter that there was no cause for concern, indicating that he was just a passerby who helped them. Yunxiang pointed out that the flag of Tiandu country should not be lying on the ground, so he raised it and shouted that victory would be for Tiandu. The soldier rejoiced at such words from his savior and supported him by shouting the same thing. He was happy. All the Star Soul generals shouted that the victory in this battle would be for Tiandu. The people were happy that they had been rescued and also started shouting victory slogans. All of them were happy that help had come to them. A girl noticed the uniform of the Military Technology Academy on the guy. She didn't understand where the academy got such a strong man from. Yunxiang noticed the wounded form of the girl who was fighting against the bloodthirsty monsters. Approaching the girl, he realized she was still alive. He pointed out to her that it was lucky they had met. Yunxiang took out a soul amulet, indicating that it would be the payment for her salvation. Then he put a pill in the girl's mouth to save her. The girl was unconscious from her injuries. Taking the wounded girl in his arms, Yunxiang brought her to the rest of the warriors that were fighting the monsters. Commander Ju Tong thanked the guy for coming to their rescue. They were all grateful to Yunxiang. The man told Yunxiang that he was the commander of the Xiang District City Army 5. His partner whispered to the commander that judging by the uniform of the guy, he is a student of the Military Technology Academy, indicating that it is not necessary to address him as a senior. Ju Tong replied that age does not matter here because those who have the power reign supreme. Yunxiang handed the injured girl over to his partner, saying that she was fine and there was no need for courtesy, indicating that he had fed her a healing pill and left her in their hands. The girl asked Yunxiang if he was a student at their Military Technology Academy. She wanted to know what grade he was from. Yunxiang responded by throwing them something incomprehensible and continued walking away, leaving them unanswered. The man caught the flask of pills that Yunxiang had thrown to them. At first, he didn't realize what it was he had gotten. As he left, Yunxiang called himself Song Yunxiang, saying that he happened to pass by them, telling them to continue defending the place and he would go on, saying that they would see him later. Yunxiang used the Star Soul formation and rushed further to fight against the monsters. The girl, sensing Yunxiang's aura, realized that he was at the peak of the yellow rank but did not understand why he was so strong, assuming that he was hiding his true rank of perfection. Looking at Commander Ju Tong, she asked what Yunxiang had thrown to him. The man was shocked to realize that he had gotten the soul replenishing pills. One of the warriors asked the commander what the pills were for and why he was so surprised. The man with glasses pointed out that such pills were considered a 3-star potion that could replenish the power of the soul and were very rare, adding that such pills were no cheaper than 50,000 Tiandu coins at auction. The guy pointed out that such a flask is a year's worth of his commander's salary, calling Yunxiang very generous. The girl was curious to know what Yunxiang was really like. She stared after him. Suddenly, the wounded girl woke up hearing the name of the guy who saved her. Meanwhile, there were massive fires in Yuanding City due to monster attacks. As Yunxiang advanced, he sent the monsters he encountered to the other side with powerful blows to their bodies. The body of one of the monsters collapsed to the ground, creating many rifts in the ground around it. He kept looking for monsters in the city that were rampaging. He rode a mechanical stallion looking for them. An unknown old man climbed onto the monster's breathless body and began to watch as the Star Soul General hopped away from the place. The old man found the guy's battle very interesting. He also assumed that Yunxiang is at the peak stage of the yellow rank. Meanwhile, in the Military Technology Academy, the command center watched as Yunxiang masterfully dealt with the monsters. Director Shijing watched the guy curiously through the monitor in the command center, trying to realize what was going on. Xiao Yu reported that the encirclement had been going on for 34 minutes and that the squad currently had more than half of the soldiers injured, indicating that they needed additional reinforcements. The principal asked the secretary what the situation was inside their academy. The secretary replied that the defensive team had installed deceleration arrays against the monsters which avoided casualties casualties among the defensive team and students. Xiao Yue said that a report came in from Guo's team in the direction of 3 o'clock. Thanks to the help of a certain mysterious Star Soul General, the monsters in this direction had been completely wiped out. Director Shijing asked which mysterious Star Soul General her assistant was talking about. Xiao Yue reported that the teams in the direction of 4 and 5 o'clock had also spotted this Star Soul General on horseback, indicating that she would now display the image on the main screen. Shijing saw an unknown Star Soul General who was helping the squad fight the monsters. She noticed that this warrior was carrying a halberd and riding a mechanical horse. The woman assumed that it was Star Soul General Lubu. Xiao Yue was surprised at what the principal said, asking what Shijing knows of this Star Soul General. The principal specified that Lubu among people was the harbinger of a victory. According to the information, Lubu was the brave commander known unprecedentedly in the history of ancient civilization, and his weapon was a halberd. The secretary indicated to the director that his advancement trajectory had been calculated, informing him that he was headed for the Military Technology Academy. Shijing did not understand why Star Soul General Lubu appeared at this time, and why he was moving towards the military academy. The woman didn't understand whether he was an ally or an enemy. Meanwhile, outside the Military Technology Academy, Yunxiang realized that there were no casualties on this side of the battlefield, indicating that this was to be expected from Tiger Wing teacher Ube. Yunxiang realized that his pre-prepared deceleration arrays had done the trick and assumed that Commander Ube and the others would have no problem holding out for a while longer. Yunxiang decided that in that case, it was worth taking advantage of the current chaos and getting Zosi's Soul Jade. Yunxiang ordered the Red Flame Stallion to head towards Zosi's statue. As he approached the place, Yunxiang ordered the Red Flame Stallion to disperse. Yunxiang jumped off the stallion and headed towards Zosi's statue. The boy found himself standing next to the statue, ready to execute the intended plan. Looking at Zozi, Yunxiang ordered the star coffin to open, after which Lubu's Star Soul General began to gradually dissipate. Yunxiang came out of the protective capsule and was ready to take out the Soul Jade. Yunxiang ordered the system to scan the statue of Zosi. The system started the scanning process. The system had discovered the location of Zosi's Soul Jade. Yunxiang realized that the Soul Jade was indeed in the head of the statue. With a deft move, Yunxiang jumped onto the statue's huge body to retrieve the Soul Jade. Yunxiang applied the system of forcibly extracting Zosi's Soul Jade. Yunxiang kept pulling out the Soul Jade, indicating to him that he was climbing out. Yunxiang managed to successfully retrieve Zosi's Soul Jade from the statue he had climbed onto. After running up to the statue, Lu Yan saw Yunxiang pulling out the Soul Jade and was very surprised because he didn't understand what was going on. Lu Yan saw a man on top of the statue, trying to figure out what was going on and why the statue was damaged, after which he noticed the guy had the Soul Jade of Star Soul General Zosi. Yunxiang noticed that standing below was Lu Yan, who was watching him. The transfer disciple of Lu Yan in Yunxiang's past life was the exact moment they met. Lu Yan asked the guy who he was. The girls noticed Yunxiang, who was peeking at them again, realizing that this time he had called a friend. It was in his past life. The guy started to run away from the girls who noticed them. Lu Yan tried to justify himself because he didn't know Yunxiang at that time earlier in his past life. Yunxiang had given a tour to Lu Yan, who marveled at Zosi's statue. Song Yunxiang remembered that in his past life, Ube had instructed him to fight a rookie by asking He Yan to lend his general to Lu Yan. After the battle between the two guys, Lu Yan came out victorious as Yunxiang's soul veins were damaged. Lu Yan, in the current time, was not familiar with Yunxiang, and so he asked him who he was. Yunxiang called out his name, indicating that they had met again, but Lu Yan's retort was the same as the last life. Lu Yan thought about it, indicating that he had heard his name before and tried to remember. Without thinking long, the guy managed to remember where he had heard of Yunxiang. Lu Yan stated that Yunxiang is the same missing Mr. 3 Minutes. Yunxiang asked what he was missing and quickly moved from the body of the statue behind Lu Yan's back. The rookie didn't expect such speed. Yunxiang hit the rookie on the back of his head to disarm him. Lu Yan didn't expect this and failed to resist it. Yunxiang apologized to Lu Yan for what he had done, but he had no other choice. According to Yunxiang's memories, Lu Yan had disappeared in a battle at the Military Technology Academy in his past life. Then it became known that Lu Yan had become an experimental artificial host under the number 0 of the country of Myron. Hiding under the mask of 0, he had invaded Tiandu and fought on the side of the enemies. It was in Yunxiang's past life. Yunxiang remembered that Lu Yan was later rescued by the same group of people. Lu Yan subsequently became their comrade and eventually fell on the battlefield as a hero. Considering everything that had happened, Yunxiang assumed that if Zosi's Soul Jade in his past life had really been taken away by the Myron, and Lu Yan's disappearance was the result of them also capturing him. Yunxiang remembered that the serial general of the Star Soul, Black Horn, that 0 used, did indeed bear a slight resemblance to Zhao Sai's statue. The guy realized that he was depriving Lu Yan of the opportunity, and in this timeline, there would no longer be the man known as Zero. Realizing that he would be spared the pain he had to endure becoming an experimental subject in his past life, Yunxiang did not know what he should do with the Soul Jade. He asked the system if it could copy this general. The system indicated that it did not have enough rights and began to analyze the Soul Jade. After analysis, it advised Yunxiang to put it away in the system space to find a suitable host for it and then copy it. Yunxiang decided to take the advice of the system and put the Soul Jade in the system space. After Zhou Si was taken away, the guy decided to help teachers and students in a difficult situation by fighting against monsters. Originally, Yunxiang did not expect at all that he would be able to acquire Lu Bu before the monster tide even began, but it would be too ostentatious to appear in front of everyone controlling him. Yunxiang, realizing that this did not match his usual casual, modest, and reserved style, he dispelled the Star Soul General Lu Bu. According to the original plan, the Wei Yuan machine should have been enough to deal with the monsters in the academy. Realizing that the picked-up soul talisman would come in handy for Yunxiang, he asked if the system could copy Wan's general. After analysis, the system reported that it was able to retrieve data from the star network. Yunxiang realized that the system could only copy generals created by an ancient civilization, asking if it supported mass-produced fakes. The system told Yunxiang that it could not figure it out. Yunxiang used the Wei Yuan machine star soul construct. With this attire, Yunxiang was ready to appear in front of the rest of the teachers of the Military Technology Academy. He felt nostalgic after finding himself with a Wei Yuan-type general. Yunxiang noticed that in his possession was a light Sani crossbow, a round shield with the head of a beast. Noticing the Tiandu standard sword, he realized that the disciples did not have any good weapons for battle at all. Yunxiang assumed that he would do without powerful weapons this time. Looking at the passed-out Lu Yan, Yunxiang indicated for him to lie down while he rescued the rest of the people. With a powerful leap, Yunxiang went to the aid of his comrades, rushing towards them. Meanwhile, the monsters continued to push the warriors who were outnumbered. Their strength was running out. The girl tried to shield herself from the monster's attack, but it suddenly slowed down. She didn't realize what had happened. Continuing to confront the monster, the girl didn't know what was wrong but realized that because of the slowdown, she could still survive this conflict. The girl was thrown back into the wall. The monster began to approach her. She was ready to fight him to the last. The monster screamed furiously, trying to damage the cornered girl. Many soulful shots rained down on the body of the monster, which didn't expect it. He turned around. Yunxiang said that the small arms of this era are still too weak. The monster rushed at Yunxiang, who attacked it with small arms. Yunxiang was ready for battle. With a deft move, Yunxiang managed to dodge a swift strike from the monster. Grabbing his sword, Yunxiang struck many blows at the huge body of the attacking monster. Yunxiang continued to make swift attacks on the monster that couldn't match them and tried to close in on them. With a powerful leap, Yunxiang managed to drive his sword through the monster's armor. Yunxiang jumped off the breathless body of the monster he had sent to the other world. The girl, noticing the battle, pointed out that this guy is so strong. Realizing that the savior moved better than teacher Ubei, Yunxiang stated that Wei Wan's one-handed sword was very bad, suggesting that he was just tickling this monster with it while striking. Yunxiang asked the system if it could give him Lu Bu's halberd. The system gave Yunxiang the weapon he requested. Yunxiang pointed out that the battle would go much better with a halberd. The girl, seeing the guy's huge weapon, didn't understand what it was. She was shocked by what she saw. Yunxiang rushed to attack the monster that was approaching them, preparing to attack it with his halberd. With one deft swing of his weapon, the monster's body fell breathlessly to the ground. With his powerful attack, the guy managed to chop the monster into two pieces. The girl was shocked that the stranger in a second sent the monster to that world. She was shocked by such power. Yunxiang walked over to the girl and asked if the headman was all right. Yan replied that she was perfectly fine, thanking the guy for saving her. Yunxiang replied that there was nothing to thank him for, saying that he had gone to help the others. Yan didn't have time to ask the savior's name, realizing that his voice sounded familiar. She realized that the savior had called her head elder. Later, at the academy's defense zone near the 9 o'clock area, a turtle formation battle formation against beasts was focused on defense. One of the warriors pointed out to Yin Qin not to rush to the front of the line and return to the ranks. The warrior managed to dodge the monster's attack by using the soul energy enhancement technique. The girl tried to land crushing blows on the monster that trapped their squad up close. The second student pointed out to the teacher that the elder Yin Qin had begun to fall into a frenzy as soon as she started fighting, offering to help her. Striking a successful blow on the monster, the girl pointed out that they were moving too slowly. Yin Qin, a third-year elite class student, was satisfied that she had managed to successfully send one of the monsters to the other world. One of the monsters tried to grab the girl, who was distracted by a conflict with another monster. The student, noticing the danger, hurriedly warned Yin Qin about it. The girl jumped up and replied that the monster couldn't hit her. Yin Qin jumped ahead of the monster, thinking that her attacks had caused it to go to the other world. The monster turned out to be resilient, and with a powerful blow, made the girl fall. She didn't expect such an attack and therefore didn't have time to dodge it. Coming to her senses and recovering from the blow, Yin Qin was ready to fight back against this monster. Wiping away the fluid, the girl pointed out that these monsters were stronger than she had realized. The students noticed that Senior Yin Qin was surrounded and grabbed by monsters. One of the monsters was intent on overwhelming the Star Soul general that Yinqin controlled. Suddenly, Yunxiang came to her aid with a halberd in hand, preparing to strike at the attacking monster. With a deft move, the guy managed to save Yinqin and send the monster to rest. The girl was shocked and glad that the unknown guy was able to help her in time. Yunxiang managed to skillfully deal with the rest of the monsters, sending them to the other world. Yinqin continued to lie down and watch her savior. Yinqin watched the battles and realized that this guy was too incredible and attractive. The students realized that senior Yinqin had been saved. They didn't realize whose General Wei Yuan came to their rescue. Defensively, the guys realized that this unknown person was 100 times stronger than any teacher, sending the monsters to the other world as if cutting vegetables. The system informed Yunxiang that he had a low level of soul power. The remaining soul power was $5 per $1, and the construct would dissipate in 40 breaths. Hearing this information, Yunxiang realized that the halberd was a heavy weapon for the Wei Yuan machine. Yinqin received a painful recoil from the blow. He realized she had to get up so as not to look humiliating in front of her savior. The guy tried to help her up by asking Yinqin if she was okay, but the girl didn't expect this. Yunxiang asked Yinqin if she could fight further. The girl thanked him for his concern, replying that she was fine. She was flustered by such a question from the guy. Hearing Yinqin's soft voice, her classmate didn't understand why she was speaking as if she was another person. The teacher instructed Yunxiang not to stay long with Yinqin because they needed support here too. Yunxiang rushed to the aid of the others who were trying to resist the huge number of monsters. He got right into the epicenter where the monsters were. He was ready to do battle with them. With a deft move, Yunxiang managed to send a certain number of monsters to the other world. Yunxiang continued to fight the monsters while helping his comrades who were defending. The teacher thanked Yunxiang for his help and began to counterattack the monsters, ordering them to form up in a 10-position formation against the Eagle Strike monsters, ordering everyone to follow the apprentice with large weapons and clear away all monsters in their path. A 10-position battle formation against the Eagle Strike monsters was formed, grouping 5 vehicles on each of the left and right flanks to encircle and destroy an individual monster. After doing the math, the guy stated that it looked like one in their group was extra. The warriors rushed into battle against the huge monsters in the hope of victory. The guy indicated that he was an extra, asking what he should do in that case. Yinqin instructed the extra to go with her and guard the rear. The girl made her way to the rescue, pointing out that the guy had been careful. He had not expected such a reaction. The boy didn't understand why the elder Yinqin had become uncomfortable herself. As her voice became softer, the teacher ordered the right wing 5 to prepare to attack. The students indicated they were ready making the attack. The teacher ordered them to send the monster to another world that had separated from the rest. The students pounced on the lone monster as ordered by their teacher. Yunxiang realized that Wei Yuan's 5 black-ranked machines were almost equal in strength to a gourmetous species monster. The system reported that Yunxiang's mental strength was low. He had $2 per $1 of the construct left, which would dissipate in 16 breaths. Now that Yunxiang's soul veins had been pre-restored by pills, realizing that he didn't intend to use them against the gourmet, the combination of the halberd and the Wei Yuan machine was currently balanced. Yunxiang realized that the armament of this machine was too weak in this era. Yunxiang decided that when this wave of monsters was over, he would need to find ways to improve the armament of the Wei Yuan machine. He began to dream about arming the machine with Qingdong Yuan's flying sword and the heavy firepower of Alin. Yunxiang decided that he would think about ways to strengthen it later after finishing this monster conflict. The teacher informed them that there were 3 monsters left, instructing them not to be careless about it. Yunxiang tried to strike the monster with his halberd, but it managed to dodge. The system alerted Yunxiang that he had $1 per $1 soul sludge left, and the construct would dissipate in 6 breaths. There was one last monster left, and his machine would dissipate in 4 breaths. Yunxiang decided to launch his halberd at the remaining monster for the last time. Determined, Yunxiang followed his launched weapon at the monster. Yunxiang stood on his halberd to finish the monster with his attack. He had 2 breaths left before dissipating. Yunxiang managed to send the monster to the other side of the world and waited for the dissipation to happen. For lack of mental strength, the students were satisfied that they had managed to handle all the monsters. The partner pointed out that this unknown guy was too strong. The system informed Yunxiang that he had exhausted all of his soul power, and the machine construct began to dissipate. The other students noticed that Yunxiang's general had completely dissipated, and he appeared in front of them. Seeing Yunxiang, the students couldn't believe that it was Yunxiang who fought so powerfully against monsters with a halberd. One of the students asked his fellow student if he knew this guy. The guy replied that Yunxiang is a famous loser from freshman year, calling him Mr. 3 Minutes. The teacher was surprised to learn that Yunxiang was fighting with them. Yinqin was encouraged upon hearing the name of her savior. She felt attracted to this guy. After dispersing, Yunxiang was weakened from such a powerful battle with monsters. The secretary, along with director Shijing, were shocked to realize that Yunxiang had been helping them all along. The principal didn't believe that the one who saved her squads was this guy because everyone thought he was a loser. Xiao Yue reported to the principal that all the monsters near the 8 o'clock area had been sent to the other world, adding that 23 monsters had been destroyed by the Wei Yuan machine alone. The woman was shocked by the information she received and tried to think it all through. Shijing asked asked if Yunxiang was fighting with damaged soul veins, assuming that this guy was so good at hiding his strength. Drawing an analogy with a halberd, the woman assumed that he was controlling Lubu. The woman suspected that Star Soul General Zhou Si had also fallen into his hands. According to legend, Zhou Si could change his appearance at will and confuse his enemy with various forms of illusions. Shi Jing assumed that this guy had become a host of Zhou Si. She didn't believe that the old man of the Song family had pushed his son into the academy in order to get hold of General Zhou Si. The principal decided to question Yunxiang. The principal ordered Sha to check the battle situation at all positions. The assistant proceeded to carry out the order. The student pointed out to Teacher Wang that Yunxiang had scattered the construct and was going to take advantage of the break in the battle to recover his mental strength, asking why they all wouldn't do so and recover their strength. Teacher Wang ordered all the students to get out of the general immediately. After listening to the teacher's order, everyone dispersed the designs of their machines to regain their mental strength. The teacher pointed out that there was no telling when the next wave of monsters would appear, ordering everyone to stay in their seats and regain their mental strength as soon as possible. Yunxiang was satisfied that his intended plan was working. He was able to recover his mental strength. Yunxiang heard someone talking to him. He got more cautious. Teacher Wang thanked Yunxiang for his help by asking what course he was on and what his name was. Yunxiang replied that he was a freshman in the 10th year group, then gave his name. The guys didn't believe that it was really Yunxiang. They didn't understand how a freshman could be so strong. Walking up to Yunxiang, Yinqin introduced herself to Yunxiang and thanked him for saving her. Seeing that Yinqin thanked him for saving her, he replied to the girl that it was just a coincidence. Yinqin was the host of Star Soul General Long Qi. 5 years later, in the battle between Tiandu and Myron, her family betrayed her country. As a former enemy of Yunxiang, this girl had put him in danger in the past. Yunxiang realized that if luck was on her side in his past life, this girl would have sent him to the other world. Yunxiang walked up to Yinqin and suddenly grabbed her hand. Seeing this, the guys didn't understand what Yunxiang intended to do by grabbing Yinqin. Yunxiang hoped that he could get Star Soul General Long Qi so easily. Meanwhile, Yinqin didn't understand what this guy wanted from her. She was flustered by such an act from Yunxiang. Yunxiang realized that this touch should be enough to copy Long Qi. He decided after copying her Star Soul General to somehow get rid of this girl before it was too late. The girl thought that Yunxiang was preparing to propose to her, but her father told them to live in his house. She realized that if she had to marry because she was pregnant, her father couldn't object. The system informed Yunxiang that Long Qi's copying had failed, indicating that this girl was not a host of the Star Soul General. Hearing this information, Yunxiang was shocked that Yinqin was not a host. He was sure that she was the host of Long Qi because in his past life he had copied him into her. The system assumed that for the time being, the last wearer before Yinqin was still alive, or Long Qi's soul jade had not yet been discovered in this world and was without a master. Yunxiang remembered that Long Qi's soul jade had been obtained by the Yinqin family while exploring the Shinba secret realm and realized that it was 10 months away from discovering this place in the present time. Yunxiang's musings were interrupted by Teacher Wang. The guy continued to hold the girl's hand. Yunxiang apologized for such rudeness on his part by asking Yinqin if she was hurt. The girl asked if the guy knew her before since he acted so excited towards her. The guys watching didn't understand why the girl was behaving so strangely and realized that this was not the Yinqin they knew. Yunxiang replied to Yinqin that he had only glimpsed her before and was now only a little confused after the battle. The guys knew that Yunxiang had an ulterior motive, assuming that he wanted to get close to Yinqin. Yunxiang pulled out the pills from his pocket that he had created in the alchemy room. After that, Yunxiang took one pill and ate it to restore his mental strength. Yunxiang kindly asked Yinqin to extend her hand. The girl held out her hand as the guy asked her to do. She didn't understand what Yunxiang wanted from her. She started to feel embarrassed. Yinqin asked the guy to be gentle with her and not to hurt her. Yunxiang pointed out that she misunderstood his intentions. He asked Yinqin to turn her hand palm up. The girl, not understanding the guy's intentions, did as he asked and looked at him questioningly. Yunxiang put one soul recovery pill on the girl's palm. Yinqin asked, a little upset, that he had given her a pill. The teacher was shocked that Yunxiang had given Yinqin a soul replenishment pill. After confirming that it was indeed a soul replenishing pill, Teacher Wang said that it was worth as much as his 10-month salary. Yinqin asked Yunxiang what this pill was. Yunxiang nodded positively, indicating to accept it and recover for the next battle. In his past life, Yunxiang didn't save the girl in this place, assuming that she must have some kind of trump card or great luck. Yunxiang realized that the original course of events had been disrupted by his actions, and now he must carefully watch Yinqin to make sure that she didn't run off before he got Long Qi. The girl ate a mental replenishment pill. The teacher was upset that he didn't get one. After taking the pill, the girl didn't understand how it was possible that the majestic soul power was so dense and warm that it instantly filled Yinqin with strength. The girl indicated that it was like a huge wave splashed all over her body. She felt such sensations for the first time. Yinqin pointed out to Yunxiang that she had never tasted such a pill because it was better than others, indicating that it was of the highest quality. Teacher Wang informed Yunxiang that the others had also fought for a long time and had used up almost all of their mental strength and asked if he had any more pills to share with everyone. Yunxiang apologized to the teacher, pointing out that he had very little pill left for himself. The teacher asked if he had at least one pill for him or at least half a pill. Yunxiang replied that he didn't have any pills for the teacher but had prepared something for them. The guy pulled out magic cards filled with soul energy, after which Yun Xiang applied the formation to this perimeter. The students noticed that the soul power recovery rate began to happen 5 times faster. One of the guys realized it was a multiple star array of level 4 stars. The guy had never seen anything like it before. Yun Xiang told them to stay and rest while he went to check on the battle arena. Yun Xiang used a stellar soul builder to tell everyone he would see them again. Yin Qin asked him to stop, indicating that she wanted to go with him. The girl also applied the star soul formation and followed Yun Xiang with a powerful leap. Meanwhile, in the battle arena of the Military Technology Academy, number 3 was instructed to retreat and take a breather. In the battle arena, teacher Ubei's squad was trying to defend against the monsters. Ubei ordered teacher Cheng Yi to replace the number 3 position. There was only one monster left that needed to be crushed, and then they could focus on replenishing mental strength. Ubei ordered them to stand on defense and the rest to try to attack this monster. Following the teacher's instructions, everyone proceeded to damage the huge monster. Ubei managed to land a powerful blow on the monster in one move, sending it to the other world. The teacher ordered everyone to change formation and spread their wing. Ubei noticed the artillery volley and ordered everyone to disperse. All the students hurriedly dispersed at the teacher's order, but some still got hit by the artillery. Ubei ordered a report on the situation at this place. The girl asked if everything was okay. The arena was full of smoke. Visibility was reduced. Ubei noticed that the monsters didn't come close to them after the artillery shot and realized that the monsters had discovered that they were getting weaker in this area, so they switched to long-range attacks. One of the monsters prepared to strike at the humans from its mouth. The student informed everyone that the next volley was coming, directing everyone to defend themselves. Ubei pointed out that they couldn't fully defend themselves, ordering everyone to disperse, saying that the Weiwan machines as shields wouldn't be able to withstand that kind of fire. Everyone noticed the rays of soulful energy beside them. They were surprised at this turn of events. A powerfully launched halberd managed to hit several monsters that were in the vicinity of the academy arena. Seeing this, the students and teachers didn't realize who could have done this. Everything in the neighborhood was covered in smoke and dust again. Yun Xiang realized that he had come to the aid of this squad just in time, which he was very pleased about. The monsters began to fire their volleys at the people who were in the arena and trying to resist them. Ubei advised the assistant who had arrived to help them to get away from the place where the monsters were aiming. Yun Xiang, with the halberd in his hand, managed to skillfully dodge the attack of the monsters that were aiming at him, after which the guy immediately successfully counterstruck the monsters. Ubei noticed that the guy was constantly emitting a small amount of soul power from under his feet, and because of that, he was in a suspended state, moving as if gliding through the air. The girl noticed that the huge halberd-shaped weapon that the guy used to destroy monsters was new to the use of Weiwan machine. Everyone was curious to know who this strongest person was who had come to their rescue. A guy asked if this stranger was using the same student general that they were using. They didn't believe it was possible to pull off such a thing on a Weiwan general. Teacher Cheng Yi asked who this person was, indicating that he was simply outrageously strong. Ubei replied that he was at least equal in strength to Cheng Yi's 30 teachers. Yun Xiang managed to skillfully dodge the beam the monsters were trying to hit him with. Using his mental strength, Yun Xiang seemed to float through the air as if dodging multiple attacks from the monsters. The warrior didn't understand what kind of movement technique was being used, assuming that it was the secret art of the 7-step Star Trek Black Shell defense. This movement was the forgotten art of one of the 8 great generals of Tiandu, Mrs. Wu Sheng, chopping at the setting moon. Ubei couldn't believe that this guy was using all these techniques while only driving a student general. Yun Xiang informed the others that there were 4 monsters left to overcome. After dealing with the 2 and striking, Yun Xiang reported that there were already 2 monsters left. Cheng Yi pointed out that this guy had single-handedly handled a dozen monsters. He decided to ask this strong man to train him so that he could also majestically fight and protect everyone. Ubei didn't hear what Cheng Yi muttered when he asked him to repeat himself. He replied that he was just admiring the way this guy defeated the monsters. Yun Xiang managed to deal with all the monsters before he used up all his mental strength. The system reported that the construct would be forcibly dispersed. Ubei pointed out that he was too strong since he was able to single-handedly deal with a dozen monsters so quickly. Suddenly, Yin Qin appeared on the battlefield and asked Yun Xiang to wait for her. Ubei was shocked to hear the name Yun Xiang, who had just defeated a dozen monsters before her eyes. Teacher Cheng Yi also didn't believe that it was Yun Xiang. He was shocked by this turn of events. One of the students asked who Yun Xiang was, which made them all so surprised. The other assumed that it was the name of the strong guy who had dealt with everyone here. Ubei walked up to the guy and asked who he really was, refusing to believe that it was Yun Xiang. Yun Xiang used the dispersal of the general he fought the monsters on. The warriors didn't believe this guy was just a student either. Teachers Cheng Yi and Ubei couldn't believe their eyes and didn't understand how this was possible, because Yun Xiang was really fighting monsters so powerful. Yun Xiang informed Ubei that he was back. The people around him continued to not understand how Yun Xiang could fight monsters like this, since they knew him differently. Cheng Yi realized that he was very close to kneeling in front of Yun Xiang and asking to become his teacher. Yun Xiang greeted his teachers, indicating that it had been a long time since they had seen each other. Teacher Cheng Yi asked Yun Xiang where he had been missing for the past few days and then pointed out that it wasn't important right now. The man asked Yun Xiang why he had suddenly become so strong since his soul veins were damaged. Cheng Yi was sure that this student could only operate the machine for 3 minutes. Yun Xiang replied that it was true true, pointing out that his design had dissipated itself over time. Yunxiang realized that his time to maintain the structure had now increased by about $20 per cent dollar. Yunxiang assumed that his case would gradually adapt to the recovery of the soul veins. Changyi pointed out that Yunxiang was a liar because he had fought in the arena against the monsters for more than 5 minutes. The man asked Ube if he had correctly noticed about their disciples' battle. Ube asked Yunxiang to explain to them everything that had happened. Teacher Chengyi agreed with Ube too, asking Yunxiang to explain himself. Ube asked why Yunxiang hid his strength and pretended as if he had damaged soul veins when entering the academy. Chengyi agreed with Ube's question. He was also curious to know why the guy hid it. The man realized that the class teacher wanted to say that Yunxiang had been hiding his strength from the beginning. Ube indicated to Yunxiang that she was grateful for his help but asked him to explain himself to them. Yunxiang didn't know where to begin his explanation on this matter. He scratched the back of his head thoughtfully. Unexpectedly, their dialogue was interrupted by another Star Soul general who appeared in the academy arena. Yunxiang shielded himself from the fragments caused by such a powerful landing of the unknown. After landing, the man applied the dissipation of his Star Soul general design. The surrounding people realized that Principal Shijing, who was ready to have a dialogue with Yunxiang, had come up to them. Seeing the principal, everyone else also dispersed their construction. All the teachers rushed to greet the headmaster who had visited them. The woman was ready to find out from Yunxiang the whole truth about his strength. Shijing walked over to the guy, calling his name. Yunxiang stood calmly and was ready to talk to the academy principal. Yunxiang greeted the principal, preparing to have an explanatory conversation with her. First of all, on behalf of the students and staff of the academy, Shijing thanked Yunxiang for his timely help, adding that she wanted to hear an explanation for the fact that he was hiding his strength. Yunxiang knew that the principal must be a member of one of the established families of Tiandu City. He didn't know whether she was an enemy or a friend. Yunxiang asked where he should start his explanation. Unexpectedly, Shijing used a technique to isolate their surroundings so that the others wouldn't hear what they were talking about. Yunxiang realized that no noise could be heard from outside. After realizing that it was a soundproof formation, Yunxiang realized that this woman had installed 2 layers of Soul Force films here by reprogramming the formation of the Military Technology Academy's defense of the city. The air was blocked by 2 layers of Soul Force films. Yunxiang asked that if a question regarding his power violated his personal privacy, could he avoid giving an explanation to the academy? Shijing replied that she didn't have time to beat around the bush, suggesting that he get straight to the point. The woman pointed out that the Military Technology Academy had no right to interfere in his personal life. As she approached, one added that if it was Star Soul General Zhou Si, Yunxiang realized that the woman had gotten too close because her main weapon had almost hit him. Principal Shijing revealed her speculation that the boy had purposely pretended to be weak with damaged soul veins to take advantage of the family's influence to infiltrate the academy to get Zhou Si's soul jade. Yunxiang replied that he didn't know what she was talking about, although he understood that Zhou Si's soul jade was indeed in his hands right now. Shijing ordered him to stop pretending, pointing out that he had already become the host of Zhou Si and the Red Lubu who had appeared in the Jiang area, adding that Zhou Si had been disguised using his unique ability. Yunxiang was shocked by Shijing's statement. He didn't know that Zhou Si had this ability because he didn't have a copy of Zhou Si in his past life. The director continued to dialogue in a vacuumed area. Everyone was curious to know what they were talking about. The students didn't understand what Principal Shijing was talking to Yunxiang about. The other one replied that he was jealous of this guy, pointing out that Principal Shijing was very beautiful and would also like to chat with her. Yinqian managed to get past Shijing's barrier to overhear their conversation. She didn't understand how the woman managed to create such a complicated soundproof formation. The girl was surprised to hear about the speculation that the guy was a host of Zhou Si. Director Shijing said she saw images of Red Lubu, adding that Yunxiang was seen at the scene. Shijing pointed out that according to the documents of the Tiandu Kingdom, Zhou Si could not only take the form of other generals but also imitate their abilities and movements. The woman noted that it was unlikely that anyone could raise 3 small levels in just 3 days, concluding that the illusion of level perfection that he was now demonstrating was proof that Yunxiang was a Zhou Si host. Teacher Cheng Yi was shocked that this guy was a Zhou Si host. He couldn't believe that he still thought he was a loser. Hearing Principal Shijing's reasoning, he almost believed it himself. He had not originally planned to hide the existence of the Star-Lord system from others, a guy who got a master system in a strange place in his past life. Yunxiang realized that this system still hides a lot of secrets, so he decided to explore that place again after finishing it all. Yunxiang decided not to tell Shijing about the Star-Lord system, deciding to play along with the woman's reasoning and pretend that he really was a Zhou Si host, deciding that his soul jade would stay in his system space for the time being. Yunxiang replied to Director Shijing that, although he tried to hide everything carefully, he pointed out that the woman saw right through him. Yunxiang informed all the teachers that Principal Shijing's reason was correct, confessing that he had indeed obtained Zhou Si's soul jade. The principal didn't expect the guy to recognize it so quickly, pointing out that Yunxiang's father was able to find out in advance that he was compatible with Zhu Xi's soul jade. The woman pointed out that this was why Yunxiang's father had arranged for him to attend the Academy of Military Technology so that he could steal the jade if possible. Shi Jing pointed out that human calculations are never perfect, thinking that she had figured out Yunxiang's plan. Shi Jing pointed out that because of the sudden wave of monsters, Yunxiang had to unleash his power to save others. The woman was sure that if not for this problem, Yunxiang had quietly graduated from the academy and revived their family with the help of General Zhou Si. Hearing all the principal's speculations, teacher Cheng Yi realized that this guy had to reveal himself to save them, realizing that he was good and righteous. Yunxiang realized that he would have to agree with all of Shi Jing's reasoning and pointed out that the guy should know the differences between an elite star soul general and mass-produced machines. Shi Jing said that such a transfer of soul jade should be recorded in the Star Sky Control Archive, saying that because of this, the Song family could be suspected of treason and planning a rebellion. Yunxiang pointed out to Principal Shi Jing that his father had not planned anything like that. He tried to further justify himself. The principal, Shi Jing, was unwilling to listen to Yunxiang's excuses and offered Yunxiang to make a deal with her. Yunxiang tried to understand what Director Shi Jing meant by making a deal. The woman indicated that these rifts were most likely all artificially induced, reporting that 3 locations of induction device cores were found. She revealed that in the core area in the Dongcheng district, she had already dispatched a celestial-ranked expert and would personally lead the academy elite and city guards herself and take control of the area. Hearing this information, Yunxiang asked the principal what she wanted the guy to do. The woman replied that she wanted him to head to the core area in the Becheng district to completely suppress the rift core and save a very important person. Yunxiang assumed that the person the principal wants to save is not ordinary at all. Yunxiang asked who he should save. Shi Jing replied that this person is a member of the royal family, the second prince of Tiandu, Tianhai. Yunxiang remembered that in his past life, the prince was the base of the war adherents faction. There were rumors that Tianhai was obsessed with conflict and asked to preemptively start a war with Myron. In the past, this prince died during the tide of monsters in the city of Yuanding. An umbrella wanted Tiandu investigated just because of this case, thinking that the handler was from the quiet abyss. Yunxiang remembered that Umbrella had not been saved by him in the past, realizing that she must have a card that helped her get out of this mess. Realizing that Umbrella couldn't have handled the second prince, the woman asked for help to save His Highness the second prince, saying that she would send a request to the Star Sky to be made the legal host of Star Soul General Zhu Si. The boy pointed out to the headmaster that she was overestimating his powers. He suggested that there should be guards with the prince, indicating that he would have to pay a heavy price to save him. The principal promised the guy that if he successfully completed this case, she would try to fulfill one of his requests within the limits of her authority as a director. Yunxiang was surprised that the woman agreed so easily. Yunxiang realized that the Shi Jing family supports the Crown Prince's faction, and in order not to reveal their secret relationship, Shi Jing sends Yunxiang to help the prince. Yunxiang agreed to the woman's deal. The core of the rift was in the Becheng area. Yunxiang wondered if he would meet his beloved Umbrella there. He decided to use the soul replenishment pill to fulfill the deal and protect the prince from the monsters that climbed out through the rifts of space. Yunxiang ordered the system to recreate him a red flame stallion so that he could quickly manage to get to his desired location. Yunxiang used the formation of the Star Soul General, preparing to go under the instructions of Headmistress Shi Jing. Yunxiang was able to successfully create the Star Soul General he needed, Lubu riding the red flame stallion. Seeing what was happening, the students didn't understand what kind of Star Soul General appeared in front of them. They were shocked by his beauty and grandeur. Cheng Yi asked why this powerful appearance was not at all like the statue of Star Soul General Zhou Si. The principal replied that it was the appearance of Star Soul General Lubu, which was different in color from the original, suggesting that the color change was due to Zhou Si's illusion. Yunxiang accepted the coordinates of Beicheng District's location and was ready to set off. Yin Qin asked Yunxiang to wait for her because she wanted this guy to be her husband no matter what. Yunxiang asked her to get off the stallion because she would overload him. The girl laughed sweetly and didn't want to leave her lover. Yunxiang remembered that the Yin Qin family supported the second prince's faction and decided to take Yin Qin with him, asking the girl to hold on tight. The girl was very happy that her lover decided to take her along. Her eyes were full of love for this guy. With the powerful leap of a stallion, these two rushed towards the set point to fulfill Headmistress Shi Jing's request. The woman silently watched as Yunxiang galloped off to fulfill her request, hoping that he would succeed. Teacher Cheng Yi asked the principal why the student followed along with Yunxiang, asking if she would be alright. The man didn't know what kind of girl she was. Shi Jing replied to the man that they had no time to worry about this girl, ordering him to hurry up and gather the members of all his squads, informing him that they would be leaving for Nanju to the core of the rift in 4 hours. The teachers obediently obeyed their principal's order and were ready to proceed. The woman began to doubt that Yunxiang was a Zhu Si host, assuming that her words would help him deceive other people. And Shi Jing said that the rest of the guy's secrets, she herself will reveal. Yunxiang and the girl were cruising through the city's burning streets. Yin Qin was chilling in the back, taking shots at any monsters that crossed their path. While they were moving, Yunxiang pulled out his halberd and, with one massive swing, totally sent the monster blocking their way to the other another world. Yunqin kept her focus on the monsters surrounding them, while the guy just kept taking down targets with his giant halberd. Yunshang told Yunqin to stop provoking the monsters, explaining that they were actually in a rush and her shots were just hyping the enemies up and drawing them in. The girl apologized to him, explaining that whenever she gets into a conflict, she kind of loses track of things and stops holding back. Yunxiang figured that if he left her alone to deal with the monsters, she would probably survive, but considering how his rebirth was already messing with history, he realized it was way smarter to just keep Yunqin close by. He decided to basically treat her like the ultimate multi-tool, letting her know that he needed a huge favor from her. She was totally down to do whatever he asked, questioning what his plan was while kinda assuming he had some weird intentions toward her. Yunxiang just told her to chill and act normal, mentioning that they were probably going to run into way tougher monsters soon. He also promised that he would teach her a new trick later. Over in the Baichang area, the core of the rift was literally just spawning monsters everywhere. A massive group of warriors was standing their ground, defending their commander and the prince by fighting off all the creatures pouring out of the portal. The Wei Yuan mechs from the royal palace guard were holding their leaders in their arms. A girl and a guy were trying their best to save a teammate who had taken a hit and lost all his energy. Tian Zeihai, the second prince of the Tiandu kingdom, told Commander Liu to hang in there and not give up on them. Liu Shenwu, the cavalry commander for the palace guards, apologized to Tian Zeihai, admitting he had messed up by not being careful enough. The prince explained that he had gotten some intel and was just trying to find proof of a conspiracy involving the Myron kingdom. He mentioned he never expected the Myron forces to actually lure monsters there, completely beating himself up for falling right into his enemy's trap. He realized that if Liu Shenwu hadn't stepped in to protect him, he would have been the one taking the damage. The cavalry commander reassured the prince that there was zero reason to feel guilty, clarifying that his only job was to keep Tian Zeihai safe. The prince firmly told Commander Liu to stop talking and save whatever energy he had left so they could make it out of this disaster. Tian Zeihai checked in with Xiaomei about the backup that was definitely supposed to be there by now, really hoping the extra help would be enough to save Liu Shenwu. The battle maid Xiaomei responded that Director Gu Shijing from the Military Technology Academy had literally just updated her that support was en route. Tian Zeihai asked Xiaomei to hand over their very last healing pill, but she hesitated, explaining that they were saving it specifically for a worst-case scenario involving him. Liu Shenwu pointed out that his injuries were way too severe for a simple healing pill to fix, begging the prince not to waste such a rare item on him. Ignoring all the advice, Tian Zeihai just grabbed the pill straight from the combat maid's hands, totally ready to do his own thing. He immediately tried to give the healing pill to Commander Liu, hoping against hope that it would save him. Just then, one of the defenders spotted the monsters pushing toward them again, and quickly gave the rest of the team a heads up. Tian Zeihai ordered Xiaomei to step up, take charge, and keep everyone safe from the incoming enemies, still crossing his fingers that backup would show up soon. Xiaomei got the right to work on the prince's orders. Using the Star Soul formation, she directed all the mechs to lock into an 8-position moon defensive setup. Tian Zeihai told the cavalry to stay super alert, while the battle maid instructed the whole squad to prioritize protecting the prince. Right in front of them, a Chongqi-type monster showed up. It was this absolutely wild, heaven-rank beast built like a literal battle chariot, packing an insane amount of destructive power. Xiaomei was totally caught off guard when she got the report that they were getting flanked from both sides, so she immediately started brainstorming the best way to handle the chaos. All of a sudden, the royal guards spotted a sketchy silhouette coming their way. They started freaking out, totally assuming it was just another monster joining the fray. Meanwhile, over in the Nanju area near one of the rift cores, Principal Gu Shijing ordered all her squads to get into formation and prepare for a major conflict. She clarified that the city guards up front were completely on defense duty. She then told the academy teachers holding down the sides that they were in charge of pulling off a surprise counterattack, adding that the student mechs would hang out in the back to provide covering fire. Right on cue, a massive aggressive monster squeezed out of the rift, looking totally ready to cause problems. Gu Shijing called it out to the whole team, ordering the army to brace themselves and get ready to take the beast down. Hearing her call, the student mechs immediately started blasting the monster, while the city guards held the line to protect their squads. At the exact same time, over by the rift core in the Dongcheng district, a city guard squad was just catching their breath from the last wave and getting hyped for the next round. The team spotted another massive Chongqi monster charging right at them, and honestly, the city guards were super on edge seeing that thing. But this old man just stared totally calmly at the incoming monster, not looking even slightly stressed about it. The Chongqi let out this terrifying roar that echoed everywhere, clearly trying to make everyone panic. The roar was so intense it actually whipped up the wind all around them. The old man just kept casually watching it flex. He pulled out a star card and quietly asked an old friend to team up with him one more time to take out this beast. One of the soldiers in the squad asked if they were seriously just going to stand there and let old man Shu handle the Chongqi all by himself. Another soldier replied that there was absolutely zero need to step in, explaining that old man Shu was literally a heaven-rank expert who could effortlessly dismantle opponents with nothing but his bare hands. The whole squad decided it was best to just stay out of it and watch Grandmaster Shu go to work. Meanwhile, things were getting super weird back on the battlefield in the Beicheng area. The Chongqi started summoning a bunch of smaller voodoo-style monsters. These were basically low-tier, yellow-rank creepers that loved to swarm solo targets and were way more interested in consuming things than actually battling. The royal cavalry watched these massive monsters closing in from both directions and seriously started doubting if they could survive the encounter. One of the warriors told Xiaomei that the squad would hold the line and stall the enemy, giving her and the prince a window to escape the area. Xiaomei looked over at Tianzihai. He was being super quiet after hearing that, which made her think something was definitely off. Lu Shenwu frankly told the prince that he wasn't going to bounce back from his injury. He offered to burn up the rest of his soul energy, stating it would buy Tianzihai about 20 seconds to get away. The prince immediately told the cavalry commander to stop jumping to the worst possible conclusions and not to make any crazy rash decisions. Tianzihai pointed out that the new aura they were feeling didn't belong to a monster at all, strongly suggesting that whoever was coming wasn't a threat. Xiaomei was super surprised by his read on the situation, figuring it had to be the backup director Gu Shijing had promised them. The monster started manifesting this massive high-powered weapon in its hand, gearing up for a major clash. Honestly, it was pretty predictable that it would craft a weapon for the fight. The Chongqi let out a massive roar that sent rubble flying everywhere. The prince quickly tried to shield Lu Shenwu from all the incoming debris. The soldiers noticed that the monster was actually growling at a fast-moving shadow over on their left. They realized the beast was completely ignoring them, guessing that this new arrival was a major threat to it. The mystery guy tossed his weapon straight at Chongqi, and the monster clearly looked cautious about the incoming hit. Right after that, a huge explosion went off next to the beast, and the shockwave sent the monster flying backward. Yunxiang suddenly dropped in right in front of the group and launched his giant halberd at the creature. Xiaomei was totally shook seeing this Star Soul general show up, assuming this was exactly the backup they were waiting for from the academy. Tianzihai realized he had literally never seen a Star Soul general like this in his life. He was completely blown away that their rescuer was actually riding a Star Soul beast. Yunxiang told Yinqin that he was going to keep the big guy distracted, instructing her to go check out the bodies of the monsters he had just finished off. Yinqin was super confused about why she needed to inspect the defeated monsters, so she straight up asked him what the deal was. He reminded her about the plan he had explained on the car ride over, repeating that she needed to dig out the rift crystals located right near the stomach pouch under their left rib cages. Chongqi noticed the guy's halberd and immediately started cooking up a sneaky strategy to take Yunxiang down, but the monster quickly realized it was stuck in some kind of mystery trap that was canceling all its moves. It struggled hard to break out of the setup. Tianzihai guessed that the beast was caught in a high-level restraining array. Xiaomei was absolutely stunned by the whole scene too. She literally couldn't believe someone could throw down an array that complicated that fast. The prince pointed out that the guy riding the stallion had just tossed his weapon at the monster, assuming that's exactly how he deployed the blocking trap. The rest of the squad realized the creatures were totally locked in a formation. They had zero idea what to do next, but it hit them that setting up an array that advanced in literal seconds should have been impossible. Tianzihai still felt something was off. Judging by how fast the mental energy was draining, he figured the barrier wasn't going to hold up for very long. The prince shared his theory with the group, guessing that this new general was honestly just stalling to buy some time. Xiaomei wondered out loud why he would use that strategy, all while watching Yinqin literally harvest crystals from the downed monsters. She pointed out to the prince that the student mech was ripping stones right out of the creatures they had already taken down. Tianzihai explained to his battlemaid that those were actually rift crystals forming inside the monsters' bodies. Xiaomei had no clue what a rift crystal was, double-checking with the prince to see if he meant the glowing purple rocks. The prince clarified that the crystals were basically spatial stones. They grew inside the stomachs of glutton-type monsters, acting like a pocket dimension so the beasts could eat things way bigger than their actual bodies. It clicked for Xiaomei that these rocks were insanely valuable. Tianzihai added that these fracture crystals were worth absolute bank because you needed them to craft storage talismans and high-end general gear. Xiaomei finally realized that their hero was literally just stalling the fight so he could farm more crystals and get rich. Meanwhile, Yunxiang tried calling his halberd back so he could get back into the conflict. He knew his spiritual prison setup was definitely not going to keep the monsters locked down forever. Tossing back a few energy recovery pills, Yunxiang shouted over to check on Yinqin's progress. She yelled back that she had only grabbed 3 crystals so far, asking if that was going to be enough. He told her that 3 was barely enough for what he had cooking, and asked her to toss them all over to him. She was totally amazed seeing him use his psychic energy to literally pull the objects right through the air. Snagging the crystals, Yunxiang charged straight toward the monster looming nearby. Tianzihai had zero idea what the guy planned to do with the loot, so he just watched the whole thing play out with major curiosity. Yunxiang definitely noticed the prince intensely watching his every move. At the same time, Tianzihai realized the mech was actually Star Soul General Lu Bu, just looking way different than the classic version. Yunxiang hopped off the red flame stallion and commanded the mount to disperse, while everyone just stared, completely glued to the action. He called out the name of his halberd, and the weapon basically materialized right into his right hand, looking totally prepped to deliver a massive hit. Chongqi noticed the weapon that had hit him earlier was fading away, and it was completely confused about what was going on. The beast tried to go on the offensive by firing off a crazy powerful light beam, but Yunxiang just smoothly sidestepped it. Missing the shot made the monster absolutely furious, and it just started thrashing and smashing everything in sight. Yunxiang swung his arms back and aimed a brutal strike strike right at the massive beast standing in his way. The monster also lunged for a jump attack. They collided mid-air, sparking this insane, lightning-like flash of energy. The Chongqi managed to deflect Yunxiang's hit and immediately followed up with a nasty counterattack. Taking the full force of that hit, Yunxiang was literally launched through several buildings, completely unable to tank the monster's raw power. Xiaomei seriously started doubting the Red General's skills, mentioning to the prince that the guy probably couldn't handle Chongqi. But after shaking off the impact, Yunxiang was right back up, ready for round 2. He knew he was only sitting at the peak of the yellow rank. He realized that even piloting Lu Bu, going head-to-head with a heaven rank Chongqi, was going to be an uphill battle. So he switched tactics and managed to stick a rift crystal right onto the huge beast's body. Suddenly, the crystal detonated, dealing some solid damage to the monster. Chongqi totally didn't see that coming. Tianzihai was shaken too, having no clue what had just blown up on the creature. Even after taking damage from the blast, the monster was still super aggressive and ready to keep brawling. Yunxiang had to admit to himself that he still couldn't outmuscle a heaven rank enemy. The only way he was walking away with a win was by using a sneaky little trick that had zero to do with actual martial arts skills. The squad watching was super impressed. They realized he had literally overloaded the rift crystal with his own soul energy to trigger a mini spatial collapse. Tianzihai was amazed by the whole performance, noting that the academy in Nanzhou was seriously hoarding some top-tier talent. Xiaomei asked what the prince meant, bringing up the fact that the guy had literally just wasted a super expensive crystal as a bomb. The prince explained that holding on to the loot didn't matter at all if a yellow rank fighter could use them to take down a heaven rank threat. It was the first time Tianzihai had ever seen the stones used like frag grenades, which made him guess that this guy had mastered some kind of niche technique. The battle maid was floored by the prince's theory that the guy piloting the mech was only sitting at yellow rank. Tianzihai nodded, explaining that he could actually feel the level of soul energy radiating off him during the clash, making him super confident the guy was hard stuck at peak yellow rank. Xiaomei literally couldn't believe it. The idea of someone bridging a 3-tier gap to box a heaven rank beast just sounded impossible to her. Meanwhile, the Chongqi commanded its swarm of voodoo minions to just rush the squad. Without overthinking it, Yunxiang stepped right up to the incoming swarm. Using a spinning halberd combo, he quickly cleared out a bunch of the smaller creatures, sending them to the other world. He kept holding his ground against the swarm as they kept trying to crowd him. Popping another energy pill, Yunxiang realized the big boss was actually spooked by the explosions and was just spamming the little guys to bait him out. The Chongqi charged up its magic beam for another shot, spotting the attack just in time. Yunxiang cleanly dodged the laser. Watching him move, Tianzihai was totally shocked to recognize the classic footwork of the black shell defense technique. Closing the gap, Yunxiang finally landed a massive hit on the beast, but the impact was so crazy that his halberd literally shattered, completely unable to handle the kinetic force. He realized that his current hardware stats just weren't high enough to casually brawl with heaven rank enemies, but he also knew he only needed to be strong enough to create a tiny window of opportunity, just long enough to slap another crystal onto the monster's heavy armor. He triggered the explosion tech, causing another huge blast right on the beast that it absolutely didn't see coming. Enraged by the damage, the Chongqi lunged at Yunxiang, looking ready to take this conflict all the way to the end. Seeing the beast charge, Yunxiang stood his ground, gripping his very last crystal. The monster actually managed to rip the arm right off the mech, but that arm was holding the rigged crystal, landing hard from the impact and running on fumes. Yunxiang basically told the beast it could keep the arm as a souvenir, and then instantly triggered the final detonation. Chongqi sensed something was super wrong when he said that, but it was way too late. A blinding flash from a massive explosion just rocked the entire zone. After successfully securing the win against the heaven rank threat, Yunxiang triggered Lu Bu's scattering tech to pack up the mech. Honestly, he was just super bummed that the monster's own internal crystal had to get blown up in the process. Xiaomei quickly told Tianzihai that the guy was rocking a uniform from the Military Technology Academy. As Yunxiang walked over, all the surviving warriors lined up to show major respect to the guy who just bailed them out. Tianzihai thanked him for stepping up against Chongqi. Yunxiang casually greeted the second prince, checking to see if he was okay. The prince and his battle maid instantly got a little suspicious, realizing this random student already knew exactly who they were. He told them not to stress about it, explaining that the academy director had literally sent him there on a very important person mission to help the prince. The prince formally introduced himself and thanked him again, asking for the student's name. When Yunxiang dropped his name, Tianzihai immediately connected the dots, suspecting he was tied to the well-known Song family. The prince recalled some rumors about the Song family patriarch using his connections to get his kid, who supposedly had busted soul veins, enrolled in the academy. Tianzihai pointed out that the whole thing was super weird, considering there wasn't a single teacher at that school who could match the kind of power Yunxiang just showed off. The guy just shrugged it off, claiming his stats were capped at peak yellow rank and that the whole victory was honestly just a massive fluke. Their chat got cut off by Commander Lu coughing aggressively. The prince looked over at him, super stressed out. The commander weakly asked Xiaomei about the medics. She replied that Yuanding City had dispatched a relief squad, estimating a doctor would drop in within 3 minutes. Tianzihai grimly pointed out that Lu definitely wasn't going to last another 3 minutes. Seeing the situation, Yunxiang asked the prince if he could take a look at the the injured guy, Xiao Mei immediately blocked his path, telling him to back up and wait before getting that close to the prince's squad. But Tian Zeihai told his maid to chill out and let Yunxiang through to check on Commander Lu. With a quick hop, Yunxiang was right next to the commander, trying to figure out if there was a fix. He tapped the commander's chest to diagnose the damage. He noted it was a deep puncture wound caused by heaven rank soul energy, explaining that since the soul veins were shredded, the captain couldn't auto-heal using his own energy. Super anxious, Tian Zeihai asked if he actually knew a way to fix him. Yunxiang casually replied that he actually knew a few different methods. He added that he didn't really have his full kit on him, so he was just going to pump him full of recovery pills. Tian Zeihai mentioned they had already tried a healing pill, and was pretty sure doing it again wouldn't do anything. Ignoring that, Yunxiang just dumped a whole handful of premium energy pills straight into the commander's mouth. Tian Zeihai was totally shook watching him do it. Yunxiang basically said that if one pill didn't work, just spam more of them. He told Xiao Mei to just keep feeding him pills until the medic arrived, guaranteeing it would keep him from checking out. Meanwhile, back at the Dongcheng Rift Core, a monster was absolutely screaming. Old Man Shu realized the beast was trying to rip open a second portal, meaning he had to drop his ultimate move to wrap things up. Raising his blade, Old Man Shu activated his third sword style, unleashing a strike meant to cross 10,000 li. This insane, mountain-crushing energy wave ripped right down the city street toward Changqi. There was literally zero chance even a heaven-tier monster could tank a hit like that. The beast's body just started dissolving into literal pixels. The attack was so crazy it left a massive trench down the street, completely deleting the monster in one shot. The squad watching couldn't even process what they just saw, hyping up how Old Man Shu had literally one-tapped the boss. They realized they had just witnessed a legendary, landscape-altering sword technique. One guy pointed out that Old Man Shu was way more than just a heaven rank fighter, guessing he was probably the closest person in all of Nanju to hitting holy rank. Another soldier was stunned, realizing he had completely lost track of the old man after the big flashy attack. He was just gone. Elsewhere, a sketchy crew was trying to force open another portal to spawn more mobs, but after getting some bad intel, they decided to cancel the op and dip out. One of the agents complained about having to ditch their expensive tech right there on the roof. The squad leader told them to forget the gear because their only priority was extracting and grouping up with the rest of the team. Suddenly, an old man blocked their exit, casually asking if they really thought they could just log out without his permission. One of the spies panicked and warned his captain that this was the exact same guy who had just one-shotted Changqi. The captain realized they needed to eliminate the old man ASAP and immediately tried to boot up his mech, but his cast was totally interrupted when Old Man Shu casually whipped a slipper right at his face, asking him to repeat himself. The impact from the literal shoe was so cracked that the captain flew backward into a wall and instantly got knocked out. The rest of the squad was fuming, complaining about the cheap shot and trash-talking the locals' martial arts skills, roundhouse kicking the loudest guy right in the head. After quickly soloing the whole team, Old Man Shu roasted them, saying that if they actually wanted to scrap, they should have just swung instead of yapping. He then strolled over to the knocked-out captain. Grabbing the guy by the ear, Shu decided to drag him back to base so he could hand the very important person prisoner over to the higher-ups. Checking the horizon, the old man noticed the final Changqi was basically cleared. He cheerfully told his captive that they were going on a little road trip. The captain begged to be let go, but Old Man Shu just ignored him, effortlessly parkouring across the rooftops while hauling his new prisoner. Over in the Nanju zone by another rift core, the forces were finally wrapping up their boss fight with a heaven-rank giant. The beast was looking super low on HP, covered in blast marks but still trying to push back against the squads. The raid leader called for everyone to stay focused, and the team pushed in to deliver the final blow to the Chongqi and secure the zone. When the beast finally dropped, the squads totally lost it, hyping each other up for officially clearing a heaven-rank threat. They started spamming victory chants, just super hyped that they pulled off the win. Riding the adrenaline, the troops bragged that they could easily take out 10 more of those things, throwing major props to Director Gu for shot calling the perfect strategy. The principal let out a massive sigh of relief. She noted that heaven-rank enemies were so broken that even with 1,000 black-rank fighters, it was still a super close call. Gu Shijing knew they got the W, but it definitely cost them a ton of resources. Suddenly, she spotted Old Man Shu jogging over, literally carrying some random guy. As he rolled up, he casually greeted the academy principal. She dropped her mech form to chat with him more easily, greeting the elder while he complimented her on holding the line. He explained that he had snagged this guy snooping around the rift over in Dongcheng. She instantly clocked him as a Myron spy and suggested turning him over to the city guard or the intel division. Old Man Shu warned her that both the city guard and intel teams were probably compromised, so he was dumping the prisoner entirely in her lap. Meanwhile, a hidden sniper was watching the whole exchange between the two of them with the captive on the ground. The old man low-key noticed they had an audience and were being targeted. The sniper, piloting a heavy-duty Yulu mass production mech, had zero idea if his cover was blown or not. Old Man Shu quietly asked the principal if she wanted him to handle the lurkers. Principal Gu smirked and told him to relax, mentioning she already had it totally covered. The enemy commander gave his squad the green light to focus down the old man and take him out permanently. Out of nowhere, an assassin's blade just materialized and stabbed the sniper, totally catching him lacking before he could even dodge. The enemy leader was completely stunned. He had no idea how they got flanked since they thought they had the area totally literally locked down. A high-tech net suddenly dropped on the commander, completely trapping him. He spammed his mech summon, but it completely bugged out, leaving him super confused. A stealth spec Wei Yuan mech decloaked right in front of them, a build specifically designed for deep cover black ops. The stealth operator smugly told him to stop mashing buttons, explaining the net was a soul-binding trap that jammed all spiritual signals. In a matter of seconds, the Academy squad successfully detained all the snipers camping in their zone. The stealth operator reported back to Principal Jiu, confirming all 5 targets were secured and the counter-op was a clean sweep. Gu Shijing ordered her team to haul the prisoners back to campus so she could interrogate them herself. Elder Shu realized the principal had been tracking these guys the whole time, complimented her, noting that even if her combat stats were mid, her big brain strats were top tier. She laughed, replying that considering he could delete a boss with one sword swing, it was honestly embarrassing to even bring up her own power level. With everything under control, the old man decided to bounce and check out the Baicheng area. As he left, he mentioned there was a kid over there who had really caught his attention. The principal wasn't exactly sure who he meant, just guessing he was either hyping up the second prince or Yunxiang. Back at the Baicheng district rift, the royal guards were still keeping a tight circle around the second prince. Inspecting the pill he got from Yunxiang, the prince literally couldn't believe it was actually a premium energy recovery item. Yunxiang casually asked Tian Zihai if he was into herbal medicine too. The prince flexed a little, mentioning he had actually trained under a level 5 royal alchemist. Tian Zihai pointed out that the kid's pills looked totally different from the standard meta. He realized they weren't basic drops and were crafted using some insanely advanced tech he didn't recognize. The prince admitted the crafting quality was miles ahead of anything the Tiandu kingdom was currently producing, meaning these meds were way overpowered. Tian Zihai asked Commander Lu for a status update after downing the meds. The prince was mind-blown, watching the commander's fatal wounds literally auto-heal in real time. He pressed again, asking how the commander was actually feeling. The commander opened his eyes and mentioned he just had the craziest trip of a dream. He described floating in this warm, reviving river of life right before a massive beam of light shot straight into his chest. He explained it felt like he had literally merged with nature, soaking up this insane healing energy that completely reset his life bar. Standing up and checking his stats, Commander Lu was completely bewildered that his injuries were just gone. Tian Zihai was equally shaken, calling the whole recovery basically a glitch in the matrix. Lu added that even his old lingering debuffs and battle scars from past years had completely vanished. Xiaomei pointed out that the commander actually looked years younger, like his character model got a visual upgrade. Tian Zihai realized she was right. All the dude's wrinkles had been smoothed out. The whole squad was just standing there, stunned by the glow-up. Looking over at Yunxiang, the prince knew this was 100% because of those cracked pills. At first, the prince thought about recruiting the guy just to exploit his OP abilities, assuming he had some massive VIP alchemist backing him. But he decided it was way smarter to just befriend him. Tian Zihai gave him a super friendly smile, but Yunxiang just stared back, looking incredibly sus. Out of nowhere, Yinqin sprinted over, announcing she had successfully farmed all the mob drops in the area. Tian Zihai saw her haul and was so shocked that someone had actually secured that much premium loot that he straight up dropped his pill bottle. Commander Lu had the reflexes to catch it mid-air, while Xiaomei told the prince to watch his grip. Yinqin dumped out all the crystals and did a quick tally. After counting, she proudly told Yunxiang she managed to secure 9 pieces total. She literally just stood there, waiting for him to hype her up for the massive carry. Yunxiang realized keeping her around was a huge W, considering that kind of drop rate and loot quality was incredibly hard to pull off. He admitted to her that he totally didn't expect her to be that cracked at harvesting. She bragged that she had been learning anatomy and dissecting things since she was a kid, adding that the second she holds a blade, she just gets in the zone. Suddenly, Tian Zihai walked up and interrupted their chat. The prince thanked him again for the meds that saved his commander, then smoothly asked if he could just hand over the rift crystals. Yunxiang flat out rejected the prince's offer. Yinqin was completely shook, just realizing she had been casually standing next to royalty this whole time. Tian Zihai quickly clarified he wasn't trying to scam him for free loot, acknowledging they were hard-earned raid drops. Yunxiang realized the prince was heavily hinting at making a business deal. The prince explained that even though Yunxiang got the eliminations, the crystals were classified as royal military assets and couldn't just be pocketed by a random player. Yunxiang caught on, suggesting the prince officially buy them. He offered to hook him up with a secret discount, hinting he was totally down for a long-term partnership. Yinqin quickly dropped her mech armor to properly meet the very important person, looking super flustered that the actual second prince was standing right there. She formally introduced herself and her family name. The prince immediately recognized it, asking if she was Shangguan Hongchen's daughter. She confirmed it, adding that her dad and her brother Yinshu were actually both on the prince's payroll. Finding out she was Yinshu's sister, Tian Zihai claimed her as one of his own. Factoring in her family's loyalty, he decided to offer a massive payout. Yunxiang playfully complained that the prince was making the negotiations super tough. To sweeten the deal, Tian Zihai promised Yinqin that he would instantly boost her brother up 3 ranks the second they got back. She totally wasn't expecting that kind of very important person perk and was incredibly grateful for the hookup. Tian Zihai leaned in and whispered to Yunxiang that his budget was a little tight, admitting he'd owe him a huge favor if he let the crystals go for that price. Meanwhile, Yinqin was just super hyped about her brother's random promotion. Yunxiang agreed to lock in the deal at that price point. The girl was thrilled, mostly because it guaranteed guaranteed her brother's rank up was secured. Tianzihai thanked him, asking for a quick second to sort things out. Yunxiang told him to take his time, piecing together his past life memories and the current vibes. Yunxiang realized her family was basically the backbone of the prince's military faction. He started theorizing that the family's future treason was probably directly linked to Tianzihai getting taken out. Suddenly, the girl jumped on Yunxiang, begging to keep just one rift crystal and promising her family would pay full price for it. He shut it down, telling her to just go farm her own crystals from the remaining monsters. She whined that he had only cleared out 12 gluttons total, giving him literal puppy dog eyes while begging for just one piece of loot. She complained that she had already looted all the other bodies, but the drop rate was basically zero. Over with the royals, Xiaomei was super reluctant to hand over the funds they had been stockpiling all year, having no idea why the prince was blowing it all at once. She argued that since the girl knew the harvesting tech and her family was loyal, the prince should just order her to farm some fresh crystals for them instead. Commander Lu stepped in, explaining that while glutton mobs were super common, the actual crystal drops had insanely low RNG and were crazy expensive. He added that the real bottleneck wasn't the harvesting, it was actually surviving the boss fight to get them. Tianzihai agreed with his commander, pointing out that the duo had somehow managed to farm a dozen top-tier crystals in one run. Looking totally defeated, the maid sadly handed over the entire savings account to the prince. Tianzihai laughed it off, telling Xiaomei she was being overly dramatic. The prince knew the lore. The Song family was formerly one of the top 4 clans in the capital. The previous patriarch was literally a saint rank expert and one of the 8 great generals. Rumor had it the whole family got nerfed and exiled over some drama involving a woman and a saint rank girl. They got banished to a tiny border town and were stuck on permanent guard duty in the southern desert. Tianzihai realized that if he was reading the meta right, this kid could easily carry his entire family out of exile and back to top-tier status. The guards stayed on high alert, locking down the perimeter around the prince. Tianzihai handed Yunxiang a digital storage talisman, casually dropping that it was loaded with $500 million in cash, specifically in Sishui currency. Hearing Sishui currency in cash, Yunxiang was completely thrown off and had zero idea what the current economy looked like. The prince hyped him up for securing the bag, explaining that Sishui coins were actually trading at a premium right now compared to their local currency. Since the Tiandu and Myron factions were constantly throwing down, Sishui was just chilling in neutral territory, making their economy way more stable. The prince noted that they had a lot of an audience and asked if Yunxiang wanted to audit the massive payout right there. Yunxiang brushed it off, saying he completely trusted the prince's word. The prince thanked him for the smooth transaction and mentioned he'd get his squad to transport the heavy loot. Securing the bag, Yunxiang pocketed the loaded talisman. He then told the prince to cancel the manual labor. Since the very important person dropped that much cash, Yunxiang offered to throw in free shipping. Tianzihai was super confused, trying to figure out what free shipping even meant in this context. Yunxiang just cast a quick array over the pile, and a massive glowing seal wrapped around the crystals. Commander Lu immediately recognized it as a spatial compression array, and the whole group was absolutely floored. Xiaomei was blown away. Lu explained that normally you literally can't store rift crystals inside a standard inventory talisman because their dimensional properties clash, but Yunxiang casually double compressed the space around them. Staring at the kid, the commander admitted that this kind of reality bending wasn't just rare, it was a level of hacking he couldn't even imagine. Yunxiang casually told the prince that manually carrying the crystals was just terrible logistics, adding that moving them with a whole convoy of mechs would just attract a ton of unwanted aggro. The student handed Tianzihai a single-use spatial array talisman, explaining that he just needed to punch in the code 6 6s to grab all the loot inside. Tianzihai totally didn't expect Yunxiang to have that kind of insane utility skill, so he thanked him for the hookup. Yunxiang pointed out that since the prince was completely safe now, he was going to head back to his own business. The second prince said his goodbyes and let Yunxiang know that he was totally down to help him out if he ever needed a favor in the future. Returning the goodbye, Yunxiang figured they would be crossing paths again pretty soon anyway. The prince realized he absolutely had to stay on good terms with this kid. Even if he couldn't recruit him to his squad, he really hoped Yunxiang would never end up as an opponent. As he walked away, Yunxiang guessed that the massive monster wave was finally wrapping up. He couldn't detect Umbrella's aura around there anymore, leading him to believe she had successfully made it out of Yuanding City. He made up his mind to head back home as quickly as possible. In his previous timeline, Yuanding City actually got totally wrecked by this exact monster wave. Back then, he had to trail behind the refugees, taking 20 whole days just to reach the Song family estate. A month after that, his family's base got completely overrun by an even bigger monster swarm. The Yuanding City garrison was pretty much eliminated, and his father and brothers didn't make it out of that disaster. During that past life, Yunxiang literally couldn't do anything to stop it and just had to escape on his own. That was right before he bumped into the Black Shell Defense Squad and got saved by his mentor. He knew that specific event was set to happen in less than 2 months, and it hit him that he still had plenty of time to flip the script and change history. Suddenly, Yunxiang noticed some random guy trying to sweep him with a massive kick. The impact kicked up a huge cloud of dust, totally hiding the attacker from view. Gripping Yunxiang's leg, the mystery guy commented that the kid was actually pretty hilarious. Seeing the sudden clash, the people standing around were completely confused about who this new player was. Xiaomei and Commander Lu instantly went into defense mode to protect the prince. Tianzihai Zahai picked up on the energy of a heaven rank expert, though to him, the vibe felt even stronger than that. Commander Lu mentioned that the aura was actually brushing right up against the saint rank, guessing they were dealing with a half-saint. Elder Shu pointed out that Yunxiang was only sitting at the peak of the yellow rank but still somehow managed to spot him. He added that the kid had been studying at the Military Technology Academy for about a year and was doing an insane job at masking his true stats. Yunxiang put the pieces together and realized this old man was literally just the gate guard from the academy. He shot back that old man Shu was doing some serious hiding himself, noting that nobody would ever guess the academy's gatekeeper was secretly a top-tier heaven rank master. Yinqin was totally shocked to find out this super strong guy was just the watchman. Yunxiang hyped the old man up, calling him one of the academy's 7 wonders and referring to him as the legendary Iron Guardian. The prince asked what the rumors actually said about old man Shu. The old man clarified that he was the head of the academy's security department, officially known as Guardian Shu Hemming. Yunxiang immediately guessed this was the exact heaven rank expert Principal Gu had mentioned earlier, so he respectfully greeted him. Commander Lu was totally caught off guard hearing the name Shu Hemming, a legend he had heard endless stories about. Xiaomei asked the commander if he actually knew the old guy. Lu explained to the battle maid that he obviously knew the legendary half-saint, mentioning that Shu had cracked the celestial rank by the time he was 30 and just totally dominated the eastern continent with his tech. He shared a story about how Shu Hemming once dashed thousands of miles just to keep a promise and help the Xuanwu army, literally taking out 3 warships with a single hit and completely flipping the momentum of the battle. The consensus was that he had maxed out the heaven rank more than 20 years ago. Yunxiang figured that if this old man was Principal Gu's ultimate trump card, she definitely must have set things up to have him bail out the prince while she was busy elsewhere. What he couldn't wrap his head around was why the prince ended up not making it in his past life if this guy was around. According to lore, the 108 divine hosts created by the original Star Soul generals could basically instant unlock the saint rank once they hit the right level of mastery. On the flip side, regular Star Soul masters piloting mass-produced mechs were hard capped by the laws of the universe. Not only was their leveling process 10 times slower, but they also hit massive paywalls trying to rank up. For thousands of years, literally 0 regular players had managed to break the ceiling and reach the saint tier. Commander Lu explained that the heaven rank was basically the absolute max level for normal people, but someone sitting at peak heaven rank was already borderline holy tier. He clarified to the group that being just a half step away from saint rank is exactly what they call a half saint. Liu Shenwu stepped up and formally paid his respects to half saint Shu Hemming. Following the commander's lead, the rest of the group quickly started bowing and showing major respect to the elder. Old man Shu just waved them off, telling everyone they really didn't need to be so formal. Yunxiang realized that during this specific era in the eastern continent, nobody had figured out a training meta for normal people to bypass the saint rank barrier. Knowing he could definitely outscale everyone in this timeline, it hit him that old man Shu would honestly make the perfect test subject to become the very first member of his future army of holy mortals. Catching his look, old man Shu asked Yunxiang why he was staring at him so weirdly, joking that the kid looked like a chef who just found an ultra-rare ingredient. He demanded to know what was going on in the kid's head. Yunxiang quickly covered it up, claiming he was just looking at the legendary half-saint with nothing but pure admiration. Yunxiang fully expected that a veteran who had been grinding in the real world for 20 years would be able to see right through him. The old man told him to drop the act, totally not buying his excuse and giving him a super suspicious side-eye. Staring the kid down, Shu mentioned that the principal had already tipped him off about Yunxiang being a Zusi host. The squad standing nearby was absolutely floored hearing that, as they literally never would have guessed it. Xiaomei asked Tian Zeihai what that meant about the red Lubu mech they saw earlier. The prince processed the info and admitted that it actually made total sense, explaining he had read that Zusi had the unique ability to copy the character models of other Star Soul generals. Tian Zeihai added that this specific lore was actually documented in an old history book that got passed around back in the day, guessing that Yunxiang just used the Lubu skin to completely throw everyone off. Yunxiang had zero idea why the whole squad was fully buying into this theory, but he decided to just roll with it and pretend he was actually rocking the Zushi system. He asked the group to keep the whole thing completely on the down low. Tian Zeihai was super appreciative that Yunxiang had risked exposing his main build just to bail them out, promising that nobody in the crew would leak his secret. Yunxiang was genuinely thankful to get that kind of solid reassurance from the kingdom's second prince. The old man's skeptical gaze shifted back to Yunxiang, and he decided to grill him a bit more. Shu asked if the kid was seriously the one who took out the massive heaven-rank monster that spawned from the Rift Core. Yunxiang met his eyes and straight up confirmed that he did. Shu was genuinely baffled, questioning how a player hard stuck at peak yellow rank could actually take down a boss like that, even with the Zusi setup. The elder really wanted to know what kind of broken strat let him jump a 3-tier power gap. Shu immediately guessed the kid was smurfing and hiding his actual stats, straight up asking if he was really just at peak yellow rank and hinting that the Song family was hoarding some major secrets. Xiaomei tried to jump into the chat to explain that Yunxiang had basically spammed explosives using the crystals, but Tian Zeihai quickly told her to stay quiet. Yunxiang told the group that since Elder Shu was asking, he honestly had nothing to hide. He gave a quick rundown of his boss fight strategy, explaining how he managed to clear the heaven rank Chongqi by detonating the rift crystals. The old man was absolutely shook hearing that Yunxiang actually blew up the loot, reminding everyone how crucial those crystals were for crafting top-tier mech talismans and admitting he missed that detail earlier. Yunxiang clarified that turning those rocks into bombs wasn't just a simple click, it required a super niche technique. He explained that he basically etched arrays right onto the crystals and then used alchemy to act as a catalyst, completely inverting the structural properties of the stones to trigger a mini spatial collapse. Tian Zeihai realized that pulling off that kind of explosion required a wild mix of array programming and advanced alchemy, asking if that meant other people couldn't just copy the strat. Yunxiang confirmed that it would be insanely difficult for an average player to figure out. Right then, Yunxiang noticed the vibe shift and gave the squad a heads up that there were enemies in the zone, telling everyone to stay super alert. Old man Shu asked if they were actually getting boxed in right now. Looking at the kid, Shu was low-key amazed that Yunxiang's radar had picked up on the incoming hostiles even faster than his own did. The royal cavalry instantly locked into a defensive formation, completely ready to tank for the prince. Over in the enemy camp, one of the scouts realized their cover was blown, pointing out to his squad that their stealth array was glitching out. It turned out to be Yuluo, a general commanding the Myron Kingdom's mass-produced mech division. Yuluo ordered his troops to drop the stealth field and go all in to secure the elimination at any cost, yelling for everyone to launch the attack right then. Yunxiang quickly scanned the area and noted they were only dealing with 8 squads of 3 Myron mechs. He called out that the enemy commander was piloting a celestial rank machine. The old man made a mental note again that the kid's processing speed for scanning the battlefield was insanely fast. Yunxiang casually mentioned to Tian Zeihai that the Myron Kingdom was clearly trying incredibly hard to get him out of the picture. The prince agreed, pointing out that way too many enemy Star Soul Masters had managed to bypass their core defenses, heavily hinting that his older brother, the Crown Prince, might be secretly feeding them intel. Yunxiang told the squad to keep their guard up, warning them that he was picking up on the sneaky aura of a second heaven rank master hiding in the shadows. Old man Shu realized the kid's sensory stats were just leagues above his own, since he hadn't detected the second camper at all. The enemy commander broadcasted to all his units to focus entirely on their main objective, taking out Tian Zeihai. The second he called the target, the whole swarm of mechs locked onto the second prince. Xiaomei yelled for the cavalry to swap their heavy tanking gear and body block for the prince no matter what. All the guards deployed their shields, forming a tight wall around Tian Zeihai to soak up the incoming fire from the Myron forces. Yunxiang quickly grabbed his defense array cards, getting ready to counter the push. He instantly threw down protective shields right over Yin Qin and Tian Zeihai, and then tossed a third massive array map straight up into the air. In a split second, he completely bubbled the entire squad, perfectly blocking the volley the enemy was just about to unleash. The old man was completely stunned that the kid could literally spam 3 level 5 defense arrays at once, just constantly finding new ways to flex on him. Yunxiang tossed a flask over to Elder Shu, letting him know he was leaving him on escort duty to protect the VIPs and reminding him to keep an eye out for that camping expert. Catching the bottle, the old man was completely shocked when he saw the premium meds inside. Over on the enemy side, the Myron squad leader ordered his team to just start spamming shots at the bubble. A massive wave of fire started raining down on the group. The royal guards braced themselves to tank the heavy barrage aimed at the prince. Huddled inside the energy dome, Xiaomei checked in to make sure the prince was okay, feeling super stressed since his safety was literally her only job. Tian Zeihai reassured her, pointing out that Yunxiang's array was completely eating the enemy's energy beams, admitting he had never seen a shield scale that well before. To get a better angle for a counterattack, Yunxiang literally used Xiaomei's head as a stepping stone to launch himself at the enemies. The maid was absolutely fuming about getting stepped on. Mid-air, Yunxiang shouted to Commander Lu that he was leaving the enemy's top-tier sky-rank mech for him to solo. Commander Lu quickly asked the prince for the green light to join the skirmish, hyping up that his HP was fully topped off. Tian Zeihai gave him the go-ahead, noting they were totally safe between half St. Shu's guard and Yunxiang's broken shield tech. Before Lu took off, the prince asked him to try and bag the Myron commander alive. Copying the exact same strat, Commander Lu also vaulted right off Xiaomei's head to launch himself into the fight. The maid was so done, completely raging over why everyone kept using her as a literal jump pad. Commander Lu activated his Star Soul formation and booted up the elite Weiyuan Palace Guard Commander model, fully prepped to scrap. The enemy boss instantly recognized him as the celestial rank fighter who had just been critically low and got super cocky, planning to end Lu in under 10 moves. The enemy pulled out a circular shield modded like a massive saw blade, the Savage Decapitator, and chucked it straight at Lu as he rushed in. Catching the animation, Commander Lu smoothly dodged the incoming buzzsaw. Xiaomei quickly shouted a warning that the shield was boomeranging right back at him. With a perfectly timed parry, Commander Lu swatted the returning weapon away. Yuluo, the Myron commander, started trash-talking the flashy gold paint job and bulky cosmetics on Lu's mech, calling them a massive waste of resources with zero actual actual utility. He roasted the Tiandu kingdom, claiming their obsession with flexing and aesthetic culture was exactly why their military had gone soft. As their weapons locked together in a heavy clash, Commander Lu clapped right back, basically telling him his opinion was trash. He dragged the enemy for completely selling out his homeland to go play soldier for the northern barbarians, mocking the idea that a traitor would know anything about actual culture. Meanwhile, one of the grunts tried flanking the prince to line up a fully charged energy snipe. The sniper was super confused, wondering where the random kid who had jumped out of the bubble had disappeared to. Out of nowhere, Yunxiang teleported right behind him. The sniper literally had zero reaction time before Yunxiang dropped a massive critical hit, completely deleting the guy from the lobby. The kid casually muttered a quick goodbye to the player he just sent packing. The rest of the Myron squad suddenly realized they had a high-threat player in their backline and frantically tried to pivot. They immediately tried to spam shots at Yunxiang, but he was way too slippery and juked all their fire, totally breaking their ankles. One of the soldiers yelled comms, warning the team that Yunxiang was pushing fast and telling everyone to swap to their melee loadouts immediately. But Yunxiang's movement speed was just completely broken. Before they could even finish the weapon swap animation, he was already dropping heavy combos on them. The enemy soldiers were completely losing their minds that this kid was solo wiping a whole squad. He was spamming attacks so fast that they couldn't even find a window to counter, forcing them to just blindly swing and pray they hit something. One of the soldiers literally called the kid a monster right before Yunxiang gave him a one-way ticket to the respawn screen. Popping another energy pill, Yunxiang admitted to himself that trying to box Earth-rank enemies with his current low-tier stats was still super sweaty. Meanwhile, Commander Yuluo finally clocked that he was looking at Star Soul General Lu Bu, and he was completely stressed about why that specific mech was even in this lobby. The Myron boss quickly deduced that his backup squad, who were supposed to be kiting Lu Bu across the map, had totally sold the bag. Realizing he should never have trusted those Taiwa mercenaries to get the job done, Commander Lu called him out for looking away mid-duel, warning the guy he was about to get slammed. Lu went fully aggro using the keel and tail combo move. The enemy was totally unprepared for that kind of burst damage and got knocked way back. Back on the other side, Yunxiang successfully styled on the final grunt trying to hold him down. The remaining Myron soldiers tried to keep the Lu Bu mech pinned down by spamming laser fire, but Yunxiang effortlessly sidestepped every single beam. Tianzihai was super hyped watching him work, amazed that the kid was not only shredding heavy armor like paper, but also securing eliminations with zero sweat, guessing the guy just naturally thrived in mech-on-mech PvP. Call for Commander Ju to flip the switch from defense to full aggro, telling him to dump all their DPS into providing cover fire for Yunxiang. Commander Ju immediately told his squad to swap their crossbows and lay down suppressive fire for the young master. The guards followed up perfectly, drawing their bows and unloading on the enemy lines. The Myron troops had to quickly duck into cover to avoid getting beamed, just trying to survive until they got a window to peek. But then they realized they were getting hardcore flanked by Yunxiang, who was just cleanly dancing through their crossfire. Tianzihai noticed the kid was spamming that same 7 steps of stardom movement tech he used during the Chengqi boss fight. The prince knew that even inside the elite Black Shell Defense Guild, only top-tier players actually had the stats to run that skill. The guild's old leader, Song Lan, was an absolute prodigy who hit celestial rank by 18 and was the third son of Lord Song. The prince strongly suspected Yunxiang was directly tied to those legendary players. He recalled how all 6 of the Black Shell heroes got completely wiped out during the Emperor's tomb raid. Because of that loss, the current commander-in-chief Dilan had basically turned her remaining guards into an ultra-aggressive squad that specialized in completely trapping enemy teams. Yunxiang dropped a massive AoE attack right on the barrier the Myron soldiers were camping behind, scattering the whole squad with the blast wave. Struggling to stand up, one of the soldiers was completely bewildered that a random Tiandu mech was packing that much base damage. Yunxiang didn't even hesitate and instantly hit him with a heavy finisher, sending him straight to the lobby. The prince recognized the move as the legendary Falling Moon Strike. It clicked for him that if he could get the Song family onto his friends list, he might actually get the neutral Black Shell Guild to carry his faction. Tianzihai realized there was way more backing for this kid than he initially thought. The lobby was getting incredibly sweaty, and Yunxiang's stamina bar was running dangerously low, so he had to keep popping pills just to keep his mental energy from bottoming out. Yunxiang thought it was super sus that the campers still hadn't made a play yet. Meanwhile, Tianzihai, Old Man Shu, and Yin Qin were just chilling in the safe zone while the royal guards kept farming the Myron troops. Studying the bubble, Old Man Shu was genuinely mind-blown by Yunxiang's tech, trying to figure out where the kid could have possibly learned it. He got this crazy feeling that the coding and logic behind the array were literally from the future. Over on the enemy side, one Myron soldier told his teammate they finally had a window to push. His duo pointed out that light ammo wasn't doing 0 damage to the shield, so they agreed to go full W key and swap to melee. Xiaomei spotted the rushers closing in on their bubble and quickly warned the prince that things were getting super sketchy. Seeing the push, Yunxiang chucked his halberd like a spear and completely disarmed the first guy. He then called out to Old Man Shu, complaining that he had to pull his weight and handle the second rusher. The Myron soldier charged straight at the old man, trash-talking that he was going to drop him easily. Shu just stood there, totally silent, waiting for the guy to commit to the swing. The rest of the squad noticed the enemy had actually clipped through the barrier barrier, but the particle effects and dust made it impossible to see the hit registration. When the smoke cleared, the Myron soldier was absolutely horrified to see that Old Man Shu had casually caught the massive mech blade with his literal bare hands. Old Man Shu sighed, commenting that server etiquette was getting worse every single day, seeing as a fully kitted Earthrank player was actively targeting an unarmed boomer. The Myron soldier's brain was completely short-circuited. He was positive there was no way a bare-handed player could just parry a mech's heavy attack. But Old Man Shu just started charging up his mental energy, fully intending to box the guy with no weapons. The enemy suddenly felt the overwhelming pressure of a peak celestial rank expert, finally realizing this random old dude was actually a half-saint. When the soldier panicked and threw a wild swing, Old Man Shu just smoothly ducked under it. Channeling insane energy into his palm, Shu hit the mech with one massive unarmed strike, literally tearing the arm clean off the chassis. With the enemy disarmed, Old Man Shu followed up with a brutal finisher that sent the entire mech crashing to the ground. The other soldiers were completely shook seeing a guy literally dismantle a mech using only his hands. Xiao Mei admitted that seeing the true stats of a half-saint was actually terrifying. Watching from the sidelines, Yunxiang realized the old man was low-key flexing. Instead of punching through the heavy armor, he was specifically targeting the weak hitboxes on the mech's joints to make it look like a brutal bare-handed teardown. Yunxiang guessed the old guy was just putting on a show to bait the camping expert out of hiding. Meanwhile, Commander Lu was locked in a nasty trade with another Myron soldier, successfully parrying a heavy strike and immediately following up with a hard counter. Yuluo was completely losing his mind. He had read the patch notes. Commander Lu was supposed to be critically injured, but the guy seemed to have gotten a massive stat buff instead. The Myron commander never expected to run into a Lubu main and a half-saint in the same lobby. Seeing his squad get absolutely wiped, Yuluo just dropped to his knees, whining that the enemy team was way too overpowered. He started begging the Holy Ambassador to come carry them. Xiao Mei was super confused, having no idea who this ambassador was. Up on a nearby roof, just casually watching the whole clown show, was the Holy Ambassador herself. She rolled her eyes, calling the Myron troops absolute trash for not being able to win a basic team fight. Her name was Man Luo, an inspector for the Ping and Sacred Sect. Spotting her creepy bull's head mask, Tianzihai instantly recognized that she belonged to a demonic faction. Xiao Mei, still out of the loop on the server's deep lore, just stared up at Man Luo, feeling super anxious. Old Man Shu honestly didn't expect a witch from the demonic sect to crash the party, muttering that this was basically a worst-case scenario. Yunxiang remembered the lore. This sacred sect was an absolute mega guild that had a massive chokehold on both the military and political meta in the Myron Kingdom. In his previous playthrough, the absolute highest power ceiling on the eastern continent belonged to two divine rank ancestors who had been alive for literally 4 centuries. One of them carried the Myron Kingdom, and the other carried the Sishui Kingdom. 400 years ago, the king of Myron tried to use the previous emperor's illegitimate kid as a puppet, while Sishui's eldest daughter broke off to start her own server, making herself empress. The illegitimate kid eventually leveled up, teamed up with the Sishui Kingdom, and completely overthrew the Myron King, leading to the creation of the Tiandu Kingdom. That whole war basically split the original mega empire into 3 distinct factions. Even though Tiandu didn't have any divine rank players to carry them, they kept the game balanced just by hoarding more saint rank masters than the other 2 servers combined. The insane expert who originally saved the Myron King's life was actually the founding ancestor of the Ping'an clan, and rumor had it that the 400-year-old monster was somehow still online. Yunxiang reasoned that, just like the conservative boomers in Tiandu, the Ping'an sect probably wasn't a big fan of Myron trying to expand their borders. In his past life, he had never actually seen a divine rank player spawn in the Tiandu capital. As Man Luo looked down on his Lu Bu mech, Yunxiang realized the Myron devs were probably cooking up some new plotline he had missed. Always ready to troll, he yelled up to the creepy girl on the roof, warning her that her angle was terrible and she was totally going to flash the whole lobby if she didn't jump down. Man Luo just pulled an item out of her jacket and told the kid not to rush, because she was about to send him to the respawn screen anyway. Flashing a mech card, she announced to the server that they were about to be the beta testers for her brand new build. Dropping from the roof, she activated her Star Soul formation and fully geared up for the boss fight. Watching her drop, Commander Lu immediately called out that this was going to be a massive problem. She landed with a heavy AoE impact that literally shook the entire block. The shockwave was so cracked that it forced Commander Lu to drop his weapon. Sitting right in front of them was an ultra-rare experimental Yijushi model, a next-gen mass-produced mech engineered specifically by the Myron Kingdom for the Ping'an sect. Man Luo smugly bragged that she had already dropped her first target just with the spawn animation. Tianzihai was totally stunned that Commander Lu's poise broke that easily, realizing this girl was playing on a completely different level than a standard heaven rank player. Yunxiang was super confused about why Myron's next-gen Yijushi mech was dropping in this early in the timeline. The Tiandu guards quickly formed a wall to protect the prince, while Man Luo's back was turned. Doing a quick 180, she pulled out her weapon and charged straight at the squad, tanking for Tianzihai. Yunxiang frantically pinged Old Man Shu to get ready to peel for the very important person catching on. The old man fell back to the array, protecting the prince, pulling his own mech card and instantly triggering his formation. Man Luo swung hard, aiming a massive strike right at the old guy blocking her path. Shu managed to pop his mech mech form just in time to successfully block the heavy attack. The clash generated such a crazy kinetic shockwave that it completely knocked all the Tian-Do guards away from the center of the fight. The resulting wind pressure was absolutely insane, literally clipping right through the protective bubble. Yin Qin and the prince had to brace themselves just to not get blown away. Tian Zeihai realized that her next-gen hardware was boosting her stats so high that she was actually trading evenly with half-Saint Shu. Seeing that her pressure was starting to crack their main shield, the prince ordered Xiao Mei to prioritize grabbing Commander Lu and getting him to safety. The battlemaid locked in and immediately went to execute the play. Tian Zeihai was honestly shocked that Yunxiang's seemingly unbreakable defense array was actually shattering. He knew the lore behind these crazy power dynamics. Some elite players were so incredibly broken that even their own server admins were terrified of them. And historically, anyone who got involved in the messy drama of succession wars ended up getting completely nerfed. The losers were always stripped of their ranks and permabanned from the capital. Yunxiang yelled to Old Man Shu that he literally didn't have the gear score to help in a lobby this high level, saying he was going to extract the two VIPs to a safe zone and then come back to spectate. Old Man Shu barked back that this was absolutely not the time to be making jokes, ordering them to just get out of there. Hearing the clear command, Yunxiang dipped out of the aggro zone, leaving the old man to solo the boss fight. Man Luo trash-talked, claiming some century-old relic had zero right standing in the Holy Ambassador's way. Old Man Shu just casually roasted her back, saying her mic was way too loud and her ego was massive. Out of nowhere, Shu effortlessly parried her next string of attacks, completely throwing her off her rhythm. Getting frustrated, Man Luo just launched her flying blades straight at him, aiming for a quick elimination, but her tracking was way off, and the blades completely whiffed, just zooming harmlessly past Old Man Shu's mech. Old Man Shu pinged Yunxiang to stay frosty, warning the kid that Man Luo's stray blades were actually curving right toward him. Catching the call out, Yunxiang quickly popped a movement skill to totally dodge the massive flying swords, but because Shu was busy giving comms, he dropped his guard for a split second. He instantly realized Man Luo had closed the gap and was already winding up a heavy strike. That tiny bit of lag in his reaction time meant he took the full brunt of the hit, completely missing the parry window. After shaking off the stun, Shu locked right back in for round 2. Man Luo spammed her flying daggers at him again, but this time the old man easily deflected the barrage. One of her massive blades totally missed and embedded itself into a nearby building. When the particle effects cleared, Shu realized he had lost tracking on his target, immediately going on high alert. He suddenly picked up on her energy spike right in his blind spot. Man Luo tried to pull off a sneaky backstab, but the old guy was already totally aware of the flank. Old Man Shu threw up a perfect block and instantly punished her with a counterattack, but Man Luo was completely refusing to back down, fully committed to going toe-to-toe with the half-saint. Shu tried to catch her lacking with a heavy haymaker, but she perfectly read the animation and dodged it. Using the iframes from her dodge, she hit him with a brutal kick counter. The critical hit completely caught the old man off guard, launching him backward until he crashed right into a brick wall. Spectating from a safe distance, Tian Zeihai noted that Man Luo somehow had a kit that completely countered the old man's playstyle. Yunxiang explained that even though Old Man Shu had a way higher base level, he was getting hard-gated by his mech's outdated stats. He quickly added, though, that the senior player definitely still had an ultimate move waiting in his back pocket. Man Luo used a recall skill to snap all her scattered blades right back to her inventory. Fully kitted out again, she felt totally OP and was completely ready to secure the final elimination. Lunging for the finishing blow on Old Man Shu, she basically told him to log off. The old man just locked in, fully prepared to clap back against the toxic player rushing him. Yunxiang hyped his squad up, letting them know that Old Man Shu was finally about to pop his ultimate. Shu confidently told Man Luo there was zero chance she was dodging this next attack. Mid-swing, he yelled at the witch to eat his massive legacy sword attack.